Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hello. Hey, I'm just getting on the Skype right now. So, hold on a second.
Alan what? I'm just getting the, Alex Jones, Alan what? Piece of crap, whatever you want to call it.
Why do you subscribe to that?
I don't. My cards haven't been renewed yet. I asked them to be renewed. But they haven't given me the replacement cards yet. They haven't come through. It's been like 2.5 weeks or something stupid by now. Well, it's 2 weeks anyway, till almost 2 full weeks. It was supposed to take like 10 days, but she thought it'd be quicker. But I'm going to go to the bank on Fridays. She's got a half day on Friday. But I'm not concerned anyway. It only prevents me from buying crap on the internet anyway. I was going to pay for like 3-day memberships and crappy, download site, so I could download things a bit quicker for 3 days.
I don't do that. I never pay.
Oh no, but I thought it'd be worth it just for. Oh, it's one of those like.
He just dropped too.
He might cut me up a bit because I'm like downloading stuff in uTorrent. It'll be like once finished, but it might take a while.
You dropped mid-sentence.
Yeah. That's uTorrent. It tends to interfere with the call.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, it does. Yeah, I was Rapid Share. You can go like 3 days.
You actually pay Rapid Share? I've never done that.
Oh, I haven't. That'd be one of the few reasons I'd actually consider it.
Does it work?
No, I haven't tried it.
Okay.
I got a debit card shop, but I don't know what the it's a CPD number.
Yeah.
It's like ask more cards because they didn't have to tell me what it was. Well, yeah.
I refuse to pay them a lot of those places. And a lot of times, I'm standing there ready to pay, and I'm angry, and somehow the answer floats into me. Like I look around and I find the answer, and I don't have to pay. There's always some way around it.
I have to pay anyway, yeah. But there's like 100 links. There's a link to 100 different files, and I think they're really all Rapid Share. And then instead of like downloading 1 or 2 and then waiting 10 minutes like it tells you, I just thought it'd be easier to just like pay the €5 fee and download the whole damn lot all at once. Just leave it there for a couple of hours. So it was like 100 games for €5. Pretty good. But that's the sort of exciting junk that I was going to be buying on the internet. Totally uninteresting. Uninteresting. Oh yeah, I know loads of ways around it. But, oh, you mean even around having to wait? I mean, yeah, if I had somebody's Rapid Share password and username or something, I could do it. I don't know how I got here, but I got rumours persist of royal split. I think I might have got it from Windows Live Messenger, one of the sub-pages off that. Speculation continues to surround Prince Harry's relationship with Chelsea Davy, with continued reports that the couple have split. And he looks really freaky as well.
Is that
your final... Wait a minute. No, he does. Prince Harry. Is that like your final face there? Your final picture? Davy, a law student, is said to have instigated the breakup due to her concern. Hey, Davy! Yeah, great name for a girl, Davy. That's a surname. Chelsea Davy. And even Chelsea spelt funny. So David, the Rothschild, he shaved his beard off and is having sex with Prince Harry, is said to have instigated the breakup due to his concerns over his future with her royal beau, or whatever, his royal beau. Chelsea knew he wasn't going to propose and wasn't willing to wait anymore. He put his life on hold for him, and now he wants to start fresh outside Britain. Bob Peter quotes. Yeah, I'm changing he to she in a few places. Bob Peter quotes a well-placed source in London saying, I'll do it quote for it correctly next time. Chelsea loves Harry, but understands she will never be a princess. Harry would never propose before his brother and future king. There are ongoing rumours that Harry's brother, Prince William, who recently celebrated his 28th birthday and still hasn't got any pubic hair, will announce his engagement to long-term girlfriend Kate Middlefinger. Kate Middleton.
Well, he might have an accident in a tunnel in Paris, where the driver hits the 13th pillar and all that. So I mean, the other guy might really be king.
Yeah. I know he's 39 to the throne. That's the last bit.
She's got it worked out that she's never going to be queen. I mean, how do we know that? She's never going to be a princess. Well, you never know.
I know. They're just set in stone. But I can kind of read between lines in this stuff. We announced his engagement to long-term girlfriend Kate Middleton. According to the source, the younger prince is, quote, worried about how Chelsea would handle being married to the third in line to the throne. That's ridiculous. I thought it never occurred to her. I hate these fags. They get everything back to front, and it's like, but, has it ever occurred to you to be married to me? And they'd be like, you stupid fuck, it's like, that was like the first thing they were thinking of. It's like, oh no, I was so, they're so, these, the Ponzi princes and stuff are so brainwashed, they're thinking like, she was so bold, held over heels by my gorgeous looks, and my stunning handsomeness, my debonair, my suave, and the way I know 25 different brands of caviar. And it's like, no, she was more impressed by the fact of your lineage and your chance of being a queen or, a princess or whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of. Get your head out your own asshole. Yeah.
It's hard to get the shoulders in.
Hey?
It's hard to get the shoulders in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, one could do it to the other, I suppose. William and Harry between them. They've probably tried before. The royal family, yeah, they're made of ham. The royal family are happy about the split. They want William to get married first and think Harry has a lot of growing up to do, the source says. I mean, I'm not sure how old Prince Harry is, but he's just quite old. I mean, Prince William's 28. I don't know how many years there are between them. He'd be like 26, 24. Easily old enough. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, as long as they're still creepy.
Oh yeah, have you seen his face? Mm-hmm. He looks like he's got mumps or something.
Yeah.
Just permanently like that though.
Do they still, when they fall down, do they get, do they bleed?
Oh, that does remind me of a stupid rumour that I probably won't repeat it.
What's that called?
How Prince William was so worried about his royal blood that he tied himself up in bandages.
Yeah.
Head to toe. Like a mummy. That would be funny. Yeah, when he was in combat duty or whatever. Them and they're like, I military duty in Argentina, now I'm over in South Africa within an instant, yes, no inoculations for me. They actually, Prince Harry had his, there was a headline in the papers, Harry's private war, and sort of reading into that just means it never happened, it was just a media war, smoke and mirrors sort of thing. Firing blanks, all that sort of stuff. I don't know. And another way of reading it is even more insulting. It just basically means he's schizo. If you're saying you're fighting a private war and nobody else sees it, then you're like Johnny Rambo. Because Johnny Rambo was Johnny's private war be Rambo 1. So you didn't even get Carrie's Choice, or it was Sophie's Choice.
Sophie's Choice.
Yeah, that's a famous book. I haven't read it, but I know she has a choice between doing something dark.
Which kid goes to the camp and which kid goes free?
Yeah, that's it. She can only circumcise one child and claim it's a Jew. And he has time for that. One.
Yeah.
So Sophie's Choice is which is Goy, and which is Jew, which dies, which lives.
guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that stunning linkage can bring us to Lady Gaga, Terrified of Babies. I only read this. I just like come in.
When you're a hermaphrodite, you probably are afraid of babies.
Yeah, I just think it's hilarious. I don't even know why she would be. She's frightened by the prospect of becoming a mother, declaring, "I'm terrified of babies." I think creatively as a word you change when you give birth. The 24-year-old told Rolling Stone, obviously the centre of the world now. I'm totally not ready for that. The paparazzi singer has also revealed that she believes the relationship with a heavy metal drummer who she dated just prior to becoming famous is the reason for her achievements. I wouldn't be successful without him. Gaga said at their time together.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I've really never loved anyone like I loved him. Or like I love him. Our relationship really shaped me. I sort of resolved that if you can't have the guy of your dreams, there are other ways to give love.
US magazine quotes a star saying, well, Us magazine. Well, there you go. Well, it seems that everybody's convinced she's a hermaphrodite. I thought I'd do like a weird sort of like demonic voice.
Well, I think that's what she sounds like when you take the auto tune thing off.
Yeah. You take her away from the sound studio, basically.
Right, exactly. That's what she sounds like.
Processing. Yeah. But they do. When you hear them like in interviews and stuff, like Americans words to it, they go,
Really weak voice. I'm 18. Why do you talk like a pensioner then?
It's really weird.
Well, it's like
Madonna had it worse, so. Has it worse?
One that I found most recently was Rihanna.
Oh yeah.
Well, she's come on after that.
She's got this great sounding voice, and then anytime I've ever seen her performing live at anything, she just is off key. She's out of tune. She barely has any singing.
They always, yeah. I saw Shakira live as well. Like she sounds better on record, but you know they always do because they just like use so much like quantization and everything else.
Well, they can only tune the music around you to fit, but live musicians are like, no, I'm playing in tune. Get your vocals back into order, you stupid bitch.
The guitarists always have to tune up first. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, the vocalist is supposed to be backstage, like gargling vodka or whatever it takes to clear out their throat. Not taking blowjobs. That's a load of crap. That won't get your throat clean. Body make things worse. That will agitate any bacteria you got in your throat. I was so pissed off with that stupid report. It was like it might have been Sinead O'Connor or some other Irish bitch, and like she was like Catholic, and then very funny. Yeah, she like goes on stage and gives a blowjob to her boyfriend on stage. You know, jumps off the stage and apparently gives her boyfriend a blowjob, and she goes, "Oh, that's what all Catholic girls should do, you know, if they got a sore throat." You know. Like,
hold on. Can I get that in writing? I know a bunch of Catholic.
That's what all good Catholic girls should do in order to clear out a sore throat. I know it's like blasphemous, but it was some stupid bitch, like really annoying singing talent. Hey, what? Oh, I closed the program now. I couldn't hear anything.
I couldn't hear him either.
I'm sorry.
You got overexcited. You got so excited with the horrible Irish squealer who gives blowjobs. Rather.
What? I thought that was one of the chorus that said that.
No, I think they were always nice to be clean. But you might be right. They got a squeaky clean image on their records anyway.
Yeah.
I avoid pop as much as I possibly can, but I get, attacked by it for about 9 hours a day, so there's no escape really.
Right.
It's just the most horrible, mindless sort of pat.
I try to avoid all that.
Oh, it's terrible. It's just like, make some silly noises, Cal. 1 hour later, there you go, you got a new album, bitch. There you go. Yeah, not one singer.
This is Twenty Beetle. It's the #1 selling album of 2010, and the fastest rising pop star, no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, Maggot's the new, the new rising star. Get your hands off this soundcloud.
The world loves it. That's how they were the whole music industry right now. Anyway, though, is they just pull people out and go here, stand in front of this camera, wear these crazy outfits, lip sync to this thing here, and we'll make you the #1 pop star.
Yeah.
So did you read the script?
Yeah. As long as you read the script and agree to it.
Read the script.
And here, we're this jewel for the next 6 months.
So who is the relationship she had with a heavy metal drummer? Who is that heavy metal drummer? Do you know a bit of trivia?
No idea. No.
Lady Gaga says she owes her success to her relationship with a heavy metal drummer.
Oh, I have no idea.
She owes sex to it?
Yeah. She believes a relationship with a heavy metal drummer who she dated to becoming famous is the reason for her achievements. And she says, I wouldn't have been as successful without him. Yeah. He'd be the heavy metal drummer.
Gotta be the drummer for L7, I guess. For those of you out there who don't know, L7 is a group of women who are all die-hard lesbians and make really, really crappy music.
Not Shed 7, then. Oh.
Well, welcome everyone to another exciting edition of American Freeman on the Freeman Radio Network. I am Don, the family Perry. With me is the indefatigable Estratios and the incorrigible Maggot. Hopefully we'll have the indefinable Caribbean critic with us a little bit later today. Glad to have you with us. Hopefully we have the Caribbean critic with us today, because I want to ask a few questions about whether I could submit a notice of understanding and intent in order to circumvent the legal process of filing for divorce. So, hopefully, and we look forward to having an exciting show on that for you sometime soon. Join us tomorrow when I'll be broadcasting live via phone from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So.
Will you?
Yeah, really. Okay. Absolutely, really. So, in the meantime, I wanted to bring something up that is happening here in the...
We do our best to get Dawn a better connection any way we can.
Yeah, the sound of rushing...
So from Grand Rapids, that'll be good.
Yeah, the constant...
Yeah, anything's gotta be better than this.
So we'll be able to hear Dawn tomorrow.
Superman!
You know, the Superman one, the kid jumps over Niagara Falls. Whoa! Where did that water come from? I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Yeah. So look forward for that tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. Dawn without any background sound effects. Except one time he puts it.
Yeah.
Well, the nice fortunate thing is that it gives me the opportunity to not have to listen to her complain, whine, bitch, moan, and make my life a holy hell for being part of this. In fact, she told me yesterday, she goes, I hope this is just a phase you're going through. And
Freedom's just a phase.
Yeah.
Oh, that phase. The phase they call freedom.
And she just wants to wait it out.
Yeah, then you'll be back to slavery again.
Hey, CC's all set and ready if you can give him a call.
Okay. I'm gonna redial you. Hold on.
Okay, that's fine.
You're breaking up, right?
Man, we can't hear him.
It's
And
very
that
different.
horrible noise back there and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's the sound of whining reverberating off the walls. From her. Ring, ring.
Any better?
Not really, but...
Here, let me turn that volume down a bit. Is that better? How about now? Is that better?
It's alright.
When I think about you now, it's not that memory fades. There's just no need for
Of course, now people want every.
let's just say you talk
There we go.
Good afternoon. CC, how are you today?
Hi, it's the afternoon, boys, I take it?
Yep.
It's the afternoon, boys. Glad to have you with us today. Have a very important question to ask you about a little bit later on the show, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Glad to have you with us. I want to bring something up that's going on here in the United States I wanted to talk about because I think it's rather telling as to where things are proceeding as far as your ability to have any free speech. General McChrystal, who's the head of the Afghan forces, apparently, in an interview with Rolling Stone, made comments that he was disappointed in President Obama. He disparaged Vice President Biden, and he called the head of national security or something like that a fool. And that's being hauled in front of the president today to give an accounting for having made these statements, everything else, etc.
So he was very accurate then?
Well, you see, and that's exactly the point.
Oh.
What are we going to do?
Oh. Somebody dropped a line.
What happened there?
We lost somebody off. Or did we? I don't know. It got clearer, Edison.
Leave a message, we'll call you back.
Oh, that's her wonderful voice.
No, Don's dropped.
I know.
He was sort of like repeating the article from yesterday, but I mean, if you
That
want
is
to
the article from yesterday.
Okay.
Now it's busy.
I've read that Rolling Stone article, and a lot of the premises in that Rolling Stone article are absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
I know. What a sad state of affairs it is, where everybody's quoting from Rolling Stone. It's like I quoted from an article from Rolling Stone earlier. It's like, is that like serious paper all of a sudden?
Well, it's only a magazine, isn't it? I mean, it's just a magazine, but to say that was serious is a nonsense.
It's just scandalising, you know? They're just using little sound bites.
Well, the reason that I bring it up and the reason that I find it to be so horrid is that if generals, people who are, closely and intimately involved in what the actions of our armed forces are doing and are taking orders from people that they don't have any confidence in, don't they have an obligation, a right and a duty to make sure that they vocalize that and make sure, I don't think General McChrystal was saying anything that all of the troops in Afghanistan don't think right now, or
that is
a large portion of the American populace feel right now.
Yeah.
Vocalize it, of course.
We should never have gone in there in the first place. It was based on a false premise. The premier organisation, the FBI, clearly stated on its website that Osama bin Laden had nothing to do with 9/11. There was no evidence of it. But Mr. Bush went ahead and used it to get into Afghanistan anyway. And what we're doing in Afghanistan, for goodness sake, what is there apart from without the troops being in Afghanistan and guarding the poppies, the CIA and several other organisations wouldn't have the covert and black funds to be able to operate. So, what are we doing?
How is this mysterious Bin Laden moving all over the world anyway? I thought he was somewhere else totally. I can't even remember where he was.
Yeah, he's 6 foot. He's 6 foot under, as Benazir Bhutto said 2 weeks before she had her bread blown off.
No. He's in Washington D.C. It's Ahmadinejad said.
Well,
He's like a Scarlet Pimpernel, isn't it? You know, they seek him.
Yeah, well, that's because he's not real. I mean, he's not been alive for years. They're chasing shadows, and that's the whole idea, is to chase shadows, because then the war will never end, and the military-industrial complex will keep making billions of money at the expense of the taxpayer, and carry out the agenda for the New World Order. I mean, I'm with Mr. Kissinger on this. You know, the military, doesn't matter which military you're talking about, but the military are dumb, stupid animals to be used as counterweights of foreign policy, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, sure. It's like the dregs of society forming military.
Well, not the dregs of society. I mean, some people join because the military will pay for their college education. Some people join because they can't get a job anywhere else.
Well, that's because
but they do form the bulk of it. Yeah, they do form the bulk of it. I know there's some. It's not all of them, but they're the ones aiming for higher up. But your grunts and stuff are just like you know, just thugs, thugs in uniform, like the SA or something, like the Gestapo.
Well, they are. I mean, the U.S.-British forces, the Anglo-American alliance, are just the new Nazis, aren't they? Mm. You know, you come up against a force who shoots back at you like the Taliban. And it's been going on 10 years. You come up against the Afghan population, you just put a gun to the kiddies or the pregnant woman's head and pull the trigger. You know, that's easy. But the troops have always been good at that.
Yeah.
Not so good when somebody's shooting back at them.
Yeah, but growing stuff's hard. You know, they got to patrol those fields and grow, you know.
Yeah, they got to control the poppies to make the profits for the CIA.
I mean, this is the soldier farmer now at this point.
Wow, what a reversal of fortune!
I mean, they got to get the almanac out. They got to plant their seeds at the right time and guard the poppies. I mean, it's a whole process for these soldiers, and they're not prepared for that kind of a. You know, they've always been training for urban warfare. Here, this is a different thing altogether. The plowing that goes on.
Then, of course, they've got to arrange for the CIA aeroplanes to pick up the end product. You know, the heroin and the opium to fly it around the world distribution-wise.
I mean, no amount of threatening the plants makes them grow any faster. You know.
That's an interesting analogy though, because like in the movie Zardoz, Zero, the essential character played by Sean Connery, his sort of like mission became impossible because he's converting the soldiers into recruiting farmers. You know, like making the soldiers into farmers sort of thing. The soldiers are just on the run from his superior forces, and they couldn't do it, as that all just became a big nightmare. So yeah, I was also thinking about Osama bin Laden being just like the enemy character in 1984, because you know, he could have been anyone Goldstein?
As
well. Yeah, Goldstein. Yeah, sort of like your proverbial evil Jew sort of thing. You know, with a name like Goldstein. You know, sort of like Germanic, and it's got gold.
Osama bin Laden's mother is Jewish. Did you know that?
Wouldn't be surprised.
She's a Yemeni Jew, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Jordanian, I forget which one, but she's Jewish.
Except in other countries where she's a Turk, and in another country she's a Ruski, and in another country, you know, you know what I'm saying. It's like it's going to be different. It could be different stories in different countries. Could be though. Could be she's Jewish.
So he is essentially Emmanuel Goldstein, really, in real life.
That's the point. Yeah.
But so the whole point is, now granted, I understand that there's a maxim in the American military that you're not supposed to disparage or speak out against commander-in-chief or your higher-ranking commander, etc., etc. But I think there's sufficient evidence, it's proven over the course of generations of the U.S. Army, that in times when bad decisions are being made by people who are supposed to be in charge, there's a responsibility and an onus on the soldiers who have to carry out those orders to decide whether those orders actually bear any merit. And I'm sorry, Barack Obama is younger than General McChrystal and has never served a day in his life putting his life on the line. How is he qualified to make any kind of comments about or statements or directorates about how the military should be operating and working. And I think it's perfectly acceptable for the lead general in a military war zone to state, well, the person that keeps us here and the person that keeps telling us what to do has no idea what he's talking about.
Well, yeah.
Well, he is in the army of Marxists and foreigners who have taken over our government.
See,
but they don't.
The idea is not to win this war. I mean, people should understand. The idea is not to win; it's to keep it going, to make profits and make money out of the drug trade. And
but a real military man wants to win an engagement and come home.
But from what tradition is he from? It's more than 100 years of not doing that.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the history. The first defeat with a bloody nose in Afghanistan was Attila the Hun. The next major defeat was Alexander the Great. He got another bloody nose. And then we had the British who went in there and they had got a bloody nose in the Khyber Pass, and 1,600 soldiers were slaughtered and only one was left alive to tell the story. And then we had the Soviets go in there, they got a bloody nose, and now America and the Anglo-American alliance are in there getting a bloody nose. You know, I mean, it's this idea that Afghanistan is the graveyard of empires is quite true, and like Osama bin Laden said many years ago, the idea is not to win it; it's just to keep them fighting, keep the alliance fighting in Iraq, in Somalia, in Yemen, in Afghanistan, you name it, hemorrhaging money.
Well, that's because military policy is handed down not by military leaders looking to end an operation or a crisis, but it's handed down by politicians and people that are so far removed from the source of combat that their actions are dictated by the hidden agenda that they're trying to produce. I mean, my grandfather graduated West Point 1932, served in World War II, and made a decision to not agree with the orders of his commanding officer. He was a colonel, and he refused to follow the orders of his commanding officer because he knew in doing so he would wind up costing far more of his own soldiers' lives and not accomplish the objective. So he went about it a different way, achieved the objective, and had a minimal loss to soldiers and a minimal amount of casualties. And his punishment for disobeying direct orders was that he was constantly passed over for any kind of a promotion until he was forced into early retirement. My Uncle John, his son, graduated West Point in '63, served his one mandatory tour in Vietnam, and then volunteered for 2 more because his theory was that if he survived a year, he had a better chance of helping other raw recruits and people drop there to survive and be able to get out of there alive and come home. And his opinion was that the first Gulf War, however corrupt and bizarre and stupid that was that the only way to completely deal with everything and to ensure that stuff was done was to blow up all the roads and then line up all these M1 Abrams tanks and march straight to Baghdad in a solid block line, and the whole thing would have been done. Which, of course, wasn't how they handled things, because they needed to perpetuate so that they could have this second Iraq invasion post the 9/11 crisis that's been planning on and building towards.
Why go into Iraq in the first place? What was the agenda? There was no reason. There was no likelihood. There was no likelihood of Iraq making any difference to the U.S. or British hegemony around the world.
It's just about controlling oil fields and being in control of Babylon.
I think it's all about protecting the Zionist regime.
Well, sure, it's creating that extra buffer between Israel and Iran.
Oh no, it's not Israel. It's Zionism. It's not. I mean, Israel isn't just. It's not just Israel that's got the Zionists. It's the top echelons in America and Britain are Zionists.
State Department.
Yeah.
Sure. People like Joseph Lieberman.
Joe Biden is a self-confessed Zionist. And what did Netanyahu say about him? He's a piece of dog shit, but we'll use him because we've got nobody else.
Of course. So.
You know, I mean, the whole thing. Like I've changed my thing in Skype now. My profile. How many children do Israel and U.S. forces have to slaughter before the world shouts enough is enough?
Well, they're very thirsty. You know, they need to drink the blood of the children. So.
Right. So, as long as they can keep claiming that you're being anti-Semitic, even by saying, making that statement, and they've got the ADL to back it up.
Well, actually, as I said to you many times, you know, I'm not being anti-Semitic at all. I mean, I love the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Semitic people. Even the Semitic Jews I love.
No, not really.
Well,
that Talmud comes out, yeah.
I am far more tolerant of a Semitic Jew than a Zionist Jew. How about that? I still disagree with the Talmud, but a Semitic Jew versus a Xerian Jew?
I don't know. So you're splitting hairs here.
No. I've got a lot of them in my head and a lot of.
No, there's some people are people, you know. I mean, we've got to face up to the fact that there's not a lot of difference between us all, except that there are some who are
into world domination.
Yeah, into absolute control of everything and everyone, at the expense of us. I mean, the policemen in America and policemen in Britain don't realise that one of these days they're going to come under the boot as well. You know.
Yep.
We've even put it to several policemen in the UK. You do realise, of course, that you're going to be asked to do things that you really don't want to do sometime in the very near future. And they said, well, yeah, this guy, actually, the one we talked to, said, yeah, a lot of officers know that. I said, so why don't you start honouring your oaths then and keep the peace instead of oppressing the people, you know? And what his reply was, well, he'd lose his job if he did that.
I don't understand these people with no vision. I've always had a lot of vision, you know what I mean, as far as seeing what's going to happen and analyzing the future and whatever. And I'm right. And no vision is short-sighted. I don't understand that at all. These people. And they're proud of it.
Yeah, well, they do have... They know what is coming down the pipeline, but they're so self-centered that they're afraid of the consequences if they do stand up and say no.
It's their blood going to be spilled. They're in the front line.
So unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of ordinary folks' blood as well. I mean, these people just look upon us as eaters, consumers of products and resources, and it's just a waste to leave us consuming their resources. I mean, they consider all these resources to be their own. Unbelievable.
Well, I just think it's ridiculous that McChrystal should be put into a position where he may be forced into resigning simply because he...
No, he's offered his resignation as far as I know.
I haven't heard or seen anything since this morning, and I know he was supposed to meet with him, and I know he had his resignation set and ready to go if it was requested, or he felt that he had lost the confidence of the White House and everything else.
But since this is Rolling Stone magazine, I mean, will he be announcing his new record soon? I don't understand Rolling Stone. Yeah. I stopped reading Rolling Stone when...
He's going to do a duet performance with Mick Jagger or something. I
mean, when Princeton released the Black Album was pretty much when I ended my reading of Rolling Stone magazine. That was 1987.
Yeah. I've got a follow-up report anyway, if you're interested. It was updated at 6:20 UK time, so that's basically 18 minutes ago. BBC News article. I had a massive cramp in my leg. It was unbelievable. That's why I was quiet a bit. I had to take the headset off. I still got it. I was like, oh, sugar. It's like right down my hamstring, right down my left hand. Yeah. Just like shot up out of nowhere. US President Barack Obama is preparing to make a statement on the position of the embattled US forces chief in Afghanistan. It follows a White House meeting in which General Stanley McChrystal was asked to explain his criticism of US officials. Mr. Obama had said the statements in Rolling Stone magazine showed, quote, poor judgment, unquote. He is due to speak at 1:30 p.m. Washington time. That's 5:30 p.m. GMT. General McChrystal had been due to attend Wednesday's monthly meeting on Afghanistan and Pakistan and faced some of those he and his aides criticised so publicly, but it appears that he did not do so after meeting President Obama. Afghan President Hamid Karzai has indicated that he does not want General McChrystal replaced. Headline: Enormous mistake. General McChrystal arrived back in Washington in the early hours local time after being summoned from Afghanistan. General McChrystal quickly apologised for the magazine article The Runaway General, written by Michael Hastings and due out on Friday, extending his sincerest apology and saying it showed a lack of integrity.
Well, let's put it like this. I reckon the announcement will be that General McChrystal wishes to spend more time with his family and is being replaced.
Actually, it's
That's
on.
It's
on TV right now. They're talking about it and they're prepping everyone to hear what Barry Soetoro has to say. So I've got I have major media news on right now, and we'll wait until he actually comes out and speak, and maybe we'll just preempt our conversation, and I'll put the microphone.
Well, he speaks every day. I mean, what kind of tramp president is this? Every day he talks, this jerk.
Yeah.
Well, he goes in front of his teleprompter and reads a prepared piece of text.
A statement, prepared statement.
Piece of text, a piece of shit that he spouts with wall sincerity, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's just a statement. It's just like words without meaning, but he knows to read the meaning into the words, you know. So it's like, on this grave day, obviously you've got to put on a grave expression and tone of voice.
All right.
But he doesn't exactly know what day it is, you know. He just knows how to read and mimic the sort of emotions that people expect to see when they're doing that sort of stuff.
15 U.S. troops killed in 2 days in Afghanistan.
What are we at now? Something to the tune of like 43, 48 soldiers killed in Afghanistan this month alone, and it's only the 23rd day of June.
Yeah, it's turning into a record for NATO forces' losses.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason we should be there in the first place, but more specifically, with the amount of mounting losses and the failure to gain any kind of real security, quote, end quote, why do we keep, it's just dumb. When 9/11 happened, the first thing that crossed my mind is, oh my God, here we go into the next Vietnam. And that's really what we're coming into. It's just a protracted, long, drawn-out war that means absolutely nothing. Keep sending people there to get killed, and keep sending people there to get killed for what? To support an agenda that has nothing to do with freedom? 43 people killed, 43 soldiers killed the month of June alone. I think I saw something last week that we have now been involved in the war in Afghanistan longer than Vietnam, and our death tolls are greater than they were in Vietnam, or something like that.
Yeah, but the poppy prices are so low. I mean, the heroin prices.
Oh, well, not ever buying heroin. I guess I would be ill-equipped to make any statements about that.
You have to find the happiness in the story where you can, you know.
right, of course. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the bright side of things. Well, that's good. At least heroin prices are down. So. All right, well, he's about to step out here and speak. Do you guys want me to put the mic and we can add this to the show, or not?
What?
Jerkface is about to speak to the American populace right now.
Go ahead.
All right, hold on. I'll put the phone right up next to the speaker.
This guy's can talk for us. I just want to say... Turn it up.
Yeah, turn it off.
I don't make decisions based on any different policy with General McChrystal, as we are in full agreement about our strategy. nor do I make this decision out of any sense of personal insult. Stan McChrystal has always shown great courtesy and carried out my orders faithfully. I've got great admiration for him and for his long record of service in uniform. Over the last 9 years, with America fighting wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, he has earned a reputation as one of our nation's finest soldiers. That reputation is founded upon his extraordinary dedication, his deep intelligence, and his love of country. I relied
You
on
can
his
tell
service,
he's gone.
particularly in helping design and lead our new strategy in Afghanistan.
Before the sack always comes the accolade.
Yeah.
You're gone, General McChrystal. Shut the fuck up. You're out of the army. Get on.
It's a bogus name, too. I don't think that's his real name. McChrystal. It's like that one general that came out. His name is Don the Grand Prix. Talk about a fake, made-up name. The Grand Prix, huh?
He says, I'm shattered to you. Get it, Crystal Shattered.
Yeah, Crystal Shattered.
Yeah. That's exactly. It was set up from the start.
That'll be the New York Post headline.
Yeah. Over here it'd be I am devastated.
Yeah.
They always say devastated. Yeah. That's when somebody dies in the family. Whatever.
According to Press TV, Obama is firing McChrystal. He's finished.
I've got no greater honor than serving as Commander-in-Chief of our men and uniform. It is my duty to ensure that no diversion complicates the vital mission that they are carrying.
What a criminal. I just hate hearing him talk.
He's talking nonsense and you know, he's giving this man a great accolade and putting the boot up his arse and kicking him out the door. Great. Wonderful how this works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Swedish dock workers block Israeli ships.
That's good. Everywhere that can be blocked, it should be blocked.
Well, according to reports as well, Oakland dock workers have refused to offload a ship in Washington State. So
Oakland is tough in good times. I mean, it's a tough area.
So I sat there with the mic as close to it as I could for as long as I could, but I had to turn
It's
off.
hard to hear that jerk talk. He's not the president.
I was feeling bile rising in my throat, and I really wanted to reach through the television and smack some sense.
So McChrystal has gone. I wonder who's going to replace him.
Atreus.
I don't think so.
Nope, that's what the Veritoro just said on air.
That's who's going to betray us next?
Yep, he's going to put Atreus in as
He's going to betray us.
the commander-in-chief of the Afghani force.
Yeah. Well, like Atreides, and Atreus means heart, doesn't it? I know it's got to be on the front, but I think in Greek or Latin or something it means heart.
Betreus has already criticised the US support, unconditional support of Israel. Maybe this is the beginning of the.
Yeah, they're just lining up for the firing squad, aren't they? Really? See what I mean? They've all got like.
They're just trying to remove anyone that may have any credibility in the U.S. Army, so that they can then slide in a bunch of cheapskate, paid-off fashists.
Well, it's like a mafioso style firing squad. It's like, okay, who betrayed me? Who betrayed me? He squealed. You know, I didn't. And he like looks at each one in turn. He's like, you did. Now who thinks I'm a crap leader?
Right.
You know.
What was that movie with the they're all at the table and the one guy gets up and he's making a joke and he has the baseball bat and kills one of them with a baseball bat?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did that in Batman as well, I think. So they have a joke.
He shook his hand
feelings.
and fried him to death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This was Robert De Niro in one of these movies.
Yeah.
Maybe it might have been Al Pacino.
Well, but the whole thing is the worst thing that you can ever get in the mafia or in the army is a promotion.
Yeah.
As soon as you get that promotion, you're hitting the next one on the block.
All right.
So I definitely think they're setting up Petraeus so that he'll be the next one to get canned, so that they can.
Well, Petraeus is forecast to be a serious candidate in the next presidential election, so they've got to screw him now before he gets a chance to stand, haven't they?
Yeah.
Really, I guess I hadn't heard that he was forecast to be that influential in the next election. Are we talking 2012 or are we talking 2016?
2012.
There won't be any United States after this. I mean, Obama's going to finish off the U.S. Election? Are you joking?
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
North American Union.
No, it's not going to be. It never has been an election for donkey's years. It's just an opinion poll, and then along come the little group of a few hundred and decide who's going to be president.
The whole electoral college and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, a couple of hundred people. Yeah.
There's a committee of 300.
And most people don't realize that that's the way it works, and that the Electoral College has changed public opinion in elections a number of times.
Well, I'm not referring to the Electoral College. I'm referring to the Committee 300.
Right. Sorry.
With Her Majesty at the Crown.
Right.
Is there any way we can convince all of them that the world's coming to an end, send them into a bunker somewhere, and it's really a storage facility inside of some kind of rocket ship that we can launch into the sun?
They're in control of this.
They wouldn't care. They'll just be like, bring it on, bring it on. They think they're a bit fatalistic somehow.
So, yeah.
They already have defense against it.
McChrystal's out. Petraeus is in. Barry is claiming himself as commander-in-chief, even though he has absolutely zero experience doing anything other than working with the Acorn Party, being an activist, and being a Trotskyite.
No, he's a Stalinist. He's not a Trotskyite. Those are the the Republicans are the Trotskyites.
Now who's splitting hairs? Communism is communism. So, yay! Glad we got a resolution on that. But the reason that I bring it up is because if the people that actually have real experience, if the people who actually have knowledge about what they're talking about can be ousted for what can be considered hate speech. I mean, how far away are we from being subject to hate speech being the next form of what they claim terrorism is? You've got dissent. You don't agree with what Washington tells you. You're a terrorist.
I thought that was already in the pipeline, Chance. You know, I mean, if you're in opposition, it means you're a terrorist. Terrorism is opposition.
Yeah,
opposition
it's a war
is
on dissent.
Well, I don't think it's hit quite to the point where all dissent is considered terrorism, but I think it's...
we're there.
But what I'm saying is that things like this are moving us towards that point. In fact, even to the level that people that I know who dislike Barry and realize that it's Barry and not Barack and that he isn't president and everything else have come out and said that even though McChrystal spoke the truth, he's not supposed to do that. He can't say those things. So it's probably best that he goes. And I'm like, are you really going to bend over and take that broken broom handle right up the poop chute? I mean, seriously.
Were you speaking to Admiral Louima?
No.
Okay.
Maybe questioning Obama is going to be similar to questioning Darth Vader. That's the scene I was thinking of as well. You know, when he's got all the generals and stuff. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And now I'm strangling you for like interrupting. That's what Darth Vader would do. You know, it was just like, you know, and you, what do you say against me? Yeah.
Precisely. Well, and on that note of Obama moving towards being a dictator, or as a dictator, I found this news article that I want to share with you guys real quick. What better example of dictatorship than President Obama's dictate to BP to deliver $20 billion to a special fund that will be distributed by some political appointee to victims of the BP oil disaster? Either a nation is ruled by a dictator or it's governed by the rule of law. Under a dictatorship, the dictator simply dictates to people what they're going to do and not do. Those who refuse to obey are punished severely. Under a rule of law, if a company commits a tort against other people, the victims have the right to sue in a court of law for damages. That's one of the reasons we have courts. So we as Freeman know that we have courts currently because, well, we'll get into that later. It even claims that courts are to enable people to peacefully resolve their differences. We know better than that. Someone might say, but America is a representative democracy and therefore can't be a dictatorship. Nonsense. It is entirely possible for a society to democratically, God, I hate that word, elect a president who then exercises dictatorial powers. Some might say, but Obama only requested BP to do it, and BP could have chosen to reject his request. Anyone who believes that also believes in the tooth fairy. What would have happened if BP had refused to go along with the president's dictate? Just ask Joe Naccio, former CEO of Quest Communications. He was the guy who, unlike his counterparts in other U.S. telecommunications companies, refused to go along with President Bush's illegal NSA scheme to spy on the American people. Today, Naccio is residing in a federal penitentiary serving a 6-year sentence for violating...
Quest Communications also put out all that Patriot video material.
Did they?
Tremendous amounts.
But was that before or after Naccio wound up in a federal penitentiary?
Before.
Okay. Well, I guess I haven't seen all that, but it's yeah. I mean, anyone who thinks that Obama isn't bringing in dictatorial, communistic, fascist elements of existence are just fooling themselves, I think.
That's right.
They want to believe that the democratic, God, it hurts to say that word, process is supposed to work. So, yeah.
Democracy now.
Here's how the slimy bureaucrat Dr. Floyd Ferris put it in Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. And regardless of your opinion of Ayn Rand, I'm not a real big fan. I think this paragraph is pretty good. Do you really think we want those laws to be observed, said Dr. Ferris. We want them broken. You better get it straight that it's not a bunch of Boy Scouts you're up against. Then you'll know that it's not the age for beautiful gestures. We're after power, and we mean it. You fellas were pikers, but we know the real trick, and you better get wise to it. There's no way to rule innocent men. The only power any government has is to crack down on criminals. Well, when there aren't enough criminals, one makes them. One declares so many things to be a crime that it becomes impossible for men to live without breaking laws. Who wants a nation of law-abiding citizens? What's there in that for anyone? But just pass the kind of laws that can neither be observed, nor enforced, nor objectively interpreted, and you create a nation of lawbreakers, and then you cash in on guilt. Now that's the system, that's the game, and once you understand it, you'll be much easier to deal with. And isn't that exactly what we've got going on right now? I can't walk out my door without somebody deciding that I'm a lawbreaker. License, registration, and insurance. Don't need it. Oh, you're breaking the law. I thought that America was established to eliminate this type of crap. Apparently I was wrong.
Well, it is unfortunate that you have fallen into the same trap.
There we go.
Right? Absolutely. So, that was my whole point on the McChrystal thing that I wanted to bring up. I thought it was important that we realize that free speech and dissent is they are ramping up everything they can do right now to ensure that you have no ability to speak your mind.
I'm just mad that there's no jailbreak for the 4.0 update to the iPod Touch software.
No, so he'll be dead by then.
I know, I need a jailbreak.
Somebody will figure it out.
Yeah.
So, on to my next point for today's show.
Great.
And the reason I'm glad to have CC here with us. Can I file a notice of understanding and intent to avoid the legal system in filing for divorce?
You're divorcing the day after you celebrate your anniversary?
Hey, when she decided to grab my palm, and I'll upload pictures here in a little bit and show you, and grab my palm and bite me hard enough to draw blood and leave blood blisters and everything else, yeah, it's time for the relationship to be over.
Ooh, drama.
I mean, and it wasn't even done in a sexual sense. It was done in a purely violent sense. And then this morning, her whole response was for me to apologize for having made her mad enough to the point that she bit me. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
So you didn't file a complaint with law enforcement then?
I have not.
You haven't charged her with rabies or had her put down like a dog?
That's the best move right there.
Yeah.
Don't get those shots in the stomach. You go to the vet.
Yeah, get the, was it Dumb and Dumber to come over? Yeah, Animal Control.
Well, my opinion is that there's only two types of things that bite a human in response of vicious retaliation. One of them is a child, and the other one is an animal.
Yeah.
Adults don't respond to each other that way. So, well,
didn't you wave cash in front of her face? That usually mollifies these animals. She's American, right?
Yeah. Well, this is coming from the same person who, as I mentioned earlier, told me that she really hopes this Freeman stuff is just a phase, that she's trying to wait it out.
Yeah, it's a phase.
Because, as we've already noticed, freedom is obviously a phase, right?
Yeah.
Something to get bored of.
Right.
I'm bored of being able to do things.
After a while, I just don't. I want to go back to being a slave.
Yeah.
I don't.
So, well, it wouldn't be so bad if the people above the slave level actually knew what they're doing, but they don't have a clue what's going on, and they don't know what they're doing either. That's what makes it even worse.
Right.
Can't just like, I'll just willingly submit and I'll turn my brain off. Fortunately, that doesn't work because you go around and you find out everybody's totally disorganised.
Well, and of course, that's the biggest problem with my wife, is that she looks at this and she got upset with me the other day because she was like, I don't understand. You people aren't peaceful. I don't know why you would want to defraud a bank. I'm like, excuse me? She goes, I've had a loan, and now you're telling me that you can just completely remove that and eliminate that and screw that bank out of their money that they gave you? I'm like, you really have no clue what you're talking about. But she sees this whole thing as being antithetical to real life. And no desire to understand it.
You got to get out of there fast.
Well, I have my mother driving down from Grand Rapids. She'll be here about 8:30 tonight, and I'm leaving. I'm even.
See, what we need is some sort of emergency wagon in these cases so we can.
Yeah, it's like an ambulance or something.
Get you out of there. Yeah. The Freeman wagon, yeah.
Men in white coats to come running out and like start tasering her and put a muzzle around her face and chain her to the wall.
We've got a child here. Yes.
It's unfortunate, but I don't know whether it's similar to in the UK as it is to America. But in the UK, they have family courts, which are civil courts. There are statutory elements to it, but not many.
Well, we have family courts here, too. However, we don't have children. We don't have a protracted family. There's no child custody going on. There's no, child support stuff that needs to be handled or anything. This can be just a clean, quick, easy, simple thing. I mean, we don't have any kids. We have animals.
Can you make that noise again? There you go.
Did you record that?
Yeah, that'll be a soundbite.
But you see, yeah, I mean, if there's no children of the family or anything else, there's only property. Then, but if it's rented, then there's no property apart from household goods and
right.
What have you.
And all I want are my clothes, my books, and my tools. I don't need any furniture.
Your computer is a tool.
Yes, exactly, completely. It's my tool.
A tool of your trade. So, yeah, I mean, just get out of there. You don't even need to stay, do you?
Right, well, and that's why I'm being picked up this evening, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm asking, is there a method of filing a notice of understanding of intent and dishonor statements and notices of default judgment and everything to be able to follow the process of divorce without actually having to go to a legal and take it through a court system? Because I know if I send her a notice of understanding and intent stating, I understand that this relationship no longer works, I understand, et cetera, and my intent is to, if you do not respond in so many days, that this relationship is over. Because I know when she receives it, she'll just get all pissy and mad and tear the whole thing up and throw it away and pretend it's not important.
Hooray!
So I know right from the get-go, if I file one, if I have the lawful ability to file one, it's going to work out in my benefit. But my question is, because I know CC's gone through this type of thing, do I have the lawful ability to file a notice of understanding and intent to...
Of course you do. On every occasion you do.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's real good to know, because that's going to be my process on this. I see no reason to go through a court system whatsoever.
I mean, you can file that on... she's breached her contract with you.
Sure.
Well, I mean, using physical violence against you is not doing, she's doing harm to another human being.
Right.
And actually, the engagement ring and wedding ring are actually considered the contract between you, so you can demand the wedding ring and the engagement ring back again.
Yeah, well, we didn't do the engagement ring and wedding ring. We just did one wedding ring.
Oh well, you can still get that back. It's a sign of the contract. It is the contract.
This is America. You're never getting the ring back.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I watched Judge Judy the other day, and she told the woman to take the ring off and give it back to her ex-husband, right there and then in the court.
Judge Sassy.
Because apparently, in law in America, it is considered the contract, the ring.
It's the binding form of the contract.
Yeah.
Mr. Rothschild wants 3 months of your salary.
Right.
So, yeah, you don't even need to hang around. You can just get out of there and just leave.
Well,
you've got no financial obligation.
I heard of somebody who got bitten on the hand, and then he, by this girlfriend or just like a random crazy woman, and he got a saliva test done on her, and had it traced up to her. Then he had her done for ABH or something.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Maggot.
Somebody I know had their hand bitten. And by a random woman, I don't know if he knew her or anything, but he had a saliva test taken, a saliva sample taken off the bite, and had it traced to her, and then he got her done for ABH.
Well, as soon as she had done it, first thing that I did is I went and grabbed my digital camera and snapped like 3 or 4 photos of it that are all time and date snapped.
Yeah. Oh, ABH is actual bodily harm. I don't know if that's the same in America, but you can. ABH is like really easy one to do somebody on.
And then
but at least they accuse them of it. I don't actually. Yeah.
Actually, if it fetches blood, that's grievous bodily harm. No.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was ABH or GBH. Just to be on the safe side, I was saying ABH. I mean,
No, this actually drew blood.
Well, that's grievous bodily harm.
Yeah, if they use the canines and stuff, the fangs, then it's going to draw blood.
Well, the worst part was that she tried it wasn't even like she just bit once and broke through the skin. She gnawed on my palm until she broke the skin.
Yeah, I had a woman do that to me once as well, like on my finger or something.
Yeah, but
she didn't actually draw blood. She didn't actually draw blood. She just made puncture marks. So it wasn't actually no blood drawn.
This was actually blood drawn, and it would have been more than one place, except she couldn't break the skin of the second spot.
Well, yeah, all you needed to do was take a swab or whatever, put it in like like one of those little money bag things that you get off the bank or something, have that sent over to be analysed, and then find your blood on it and her saliva. And you have to I know.
Put antiseptic stuff on it so that we chill.
You'd have the photo to back it up as well.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's a general rule. But we're dealing with rabid women.
Rabid dog.
Yeah.
Do not give rabid dogs a bad name.
Right. I'm sorry. Israel, the Zionist Jew.
Yeah, that does happen though. Like, it's more surprising, I suppose, when it happens with women. Like, if they're on PCP or something, they'll be in a club and they'll go like, "Give me your hand," and they'll try and break your fingers.
Sure.
Well, did she support Israel?
The wife?
Yeah.
Oh, she was the marketing director of communications for the Jewish Community Center and the Jewish Federation.
And you sleep in the same house?
Ann Arbor, when 9/11 happened.
How can you sleep in the same house?
She's not Jewish.
But she supports them. What's the difference?
Well, yeah, but at the time that I got married to her, I was an idiot. Oh. I still believed that, the greatest thing in the entire world was all of us getting along and working together for the common harmony and good, and communism was so much better than the democracy, and et cetera, et cetera. Because, yeah, I didn't know, there's no question about it. I was 100% completely brainwashed.
That is
and
really
I
sad.
thought I was open-minded.
You need to get the wagon going.
Yeah, the loony wagon. They have a special one for loonies.
Yeah.
With like a padded cell inside.
Right. So, yeah, it's. I mean, you take the telling me that we're not peaceful because we're fighting against the system without realizing the system has been defrauding us for longer than the existence of our own lives.
So what did she think about the whole thing, especially in December, the whole bit about them just killing Palestinians wholesale? I mean, that was okay?
Oh, it doesn't make any difference. The only reason is they have absolute right to do that because they've been persecuted and prosecuted, and everyone hates them, etc., etc.
Everyone hates.
You remember my talking a couple weeks back about my friend on Facebook and posting that thing from Rabbi Live and all that back and forth Jewish stuff, etc., etc., etc. She would automatically be on the side of, well, the Jewish people have been so oppressed, and the Palestinians are just trying to kill them, and all they want to do is just live in peace and harmony on the land that God gave them.
Does that win like 3 or 4 in a row, or what? That's at least 3. Whoa!
Right. No. That's the mindset that my wife has.
Wow.
Right. And it's only been just within the last year or so, as I've been waking up to this stuff, that I have noticed just how completely mind-bogglingly brainwashed she is. It's at a point now where I suddenly have realized that she doesn't want me to be what I am or who I am. She wants me to be the person that she wants me to be so that she can be in control, so that our life works out the way that she wants, which is based on the quote-unquote American dream of getting and having stuff.
And, of course, the true love of Israel.
Right. Well, I need to have a full-time career and pay my taxes and get away from all this Freeman stuff and work a full-time job so that she can be comfortable and happy and taken care of, and she can follow her pro-environmental, pro-green program about how incredibly important it is that we save the environment, and she still thinks that Barry Soetoro is the greatest president. I mean, she is just mind-numbingly brainwashed and has no desire to wake up.
Man, you managed to hit all the themes every time. That's really great. Oh, I'm going to get sick.
But this is what I'm dealing with. This is who and where I am at this point in my existence. And anytime the worst part is she comes home from work and she wants to moan and bitch and whine and complain about all the things that have gone wrong with her work. And if I try to tell her anything that's gone wrong in my day, I don't want to hear about that. If I try to share with her any of the Freeman concepts or any of the ideas about what we're trying to do, or share with her any of the truths about how money's created or anything else, you don't know what you're talking about. Bless you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. You don't know what you're talking about. That's just so wrong. I went to school and I took business classes, and so I know, because God forbid they teach you something that isn't true. So this is where I am, and so I want to know what's the best process in filing for divorce under the notice of understanding and intent.
You knew this all had a point.
I'm done. Well, I see no point in bringing the law enforcement officials into this. There's really no point, because so she bit me, so she drew blood, so I have a blood blister.
That's the
whatever.
key, though. You almost have to. And I'm with you that you don't want to call them because they're criminals and they'll find a way to use it against you somehow.
Well, if I call them and file a complaint and they show up and they arrest her or whatever, all she'll do is turn around and give them some sob story about how I've done all of these horrible, awful, terrible, no good, very bad things, none of which are true. But she'll make the statement, and because she's crying and she's this cute little girl, they'll feel sorry for her and then get her to file complaint charges against me that are even more outrageous than the truth of what she did to me. And I'll wind up in handcuffs, sitting in the jail cell.
Yeah, I remember speaking to this Don guy that I was speaking to. I mentioned that she'd be tricked into filing false claims, and you said that could never happen, and then now I'm hearing something else.
Yeah, well, that Don guy was probably an idiot at that point.
Okay, that was almost, I think, a week ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Who was that Don guy?
I don't know. Some guy in Michigan, though. I don't know. I don't remember. I'll have to go back to the archives.
But one of my dreams has come true now. They have this Find My Phone program, and they just made it for the iPod Touch. I can now find my mother on a thing that goes beep, 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 and tells me where her car is at any moment.
Isn't that frightening?
I'm 40 now, but I wanted that as a child. I don't really want it now. I don't want it at all, but it's just when your dreams as a child have come true when you're an adult. It's exactly like that RoboCop thing that they would hold up, and they knew where he was. It looked like a Palm Pilot. This is just what this thing looks like.
Sure.
No, it's just scary. I sorry to interrupt you, but it just happened this second. It's moving and she's moving. Right down Kenwood Road.
I actually found an article on that a little bit earlier today, and I was going to bring that up a little bit later. But yeah, it's...
I'm eating cake.
She's actually here right now, right in front of my apartment, apparently. She must be coming to pick up my aunt.
You got Crazy Woman after you as well.
Yeah, she's right where I am now.
I'm eating cake! So I've probably been like...
I love cake.
Yeah. They got, Father's Day cake, leftovers. It's like in Tesco's. For some reason, there was about 20 of them left over. So they reduced price, reducing basically £2 or £1.40 to 40p each. I mean, 40p, that's less than the price of a Mars bar for cake. And so I bought 3 of them. And I've got this other one, that was £1. This one is Eeyore cake, donkey cake. And the Donkey Kong. And the other ones are Top Gear Happy Father's Day cakes. It's so funny that there's so many leftover Happy Father's Day cakes. And also England won 1-0 against somebody or other in the World Cup today. So everybody was a bit mental, and like these random women would go, "Hi John," at me, and I was like, "Hi, I don't know you, but yeah, thanks." Whatever.
Random women would what on you?
Say hi to me.
Oh, okay.
They knew my name. Yeah. Well, I think they knew my name. Well, whatever. They looked like they recognised me. I was like, okay, strange. Yeah, people just like their mood just totally changed, you see, because they're so like England been doing so dismally or whatever, and the whole World Cup was looking like it was going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
And I had and by complete coincidence, I had one England Mars bar left as well in my house, and like I normally just like habitually take one Mars bar and eat it at work as a snack, but for some reason I forgot it today, and of course that's England 1, England 1 Mars. Just one of those little wacky coincidences that you sort of notice. Synchronicities, I think they called it.
You think I can get my mother to throw the phone out of the car? If I call her and tell her exact location?
Go for it.
That is really terrifying. I would never want anyone with a palm kind of thing in their hand knowing where I was in that way. This is really scary.
Well, but that's exactly where the things are headed at this point. I mean,
yeah. And if I've got it, then the cops have got it.
It's one of the reasons that I have always despised having a cell phone whatsoever. Is the ease of them being able to track you down, find you, be able to pinpoint your exact location, and all of that fun stuff is just...
She is actually picking up my aunt. It's now moved in front of where my apartment is.
Yep. So, see, there you go. Yep, in fact, here's the article that I found earlier today that I wanted to share. Apple now collecting and sharing precise location of iPhone users.
Yeah.
The world's largest technology company by market capitalization may soon rival the National Security Agency in its ability to track Americans using their cell phones. Apple Inc. is now tracking the precise, real-time geographical location of iPhones, iPads, and Macintosh computers, and has unwittingly gotten its customers to sign off on their being tracked by making a little noticed modification to the language in its app store. The company's partners and licensees will now be able to collect and store data about your location. Apple's new privacy policy comes in the wake of a new Find My iPhone app the company approved, which allows users to recover their lost phones.
This is what I'm just describing this exact program to you.
Exactly. Well, it's the same thing as having the OnStar system in every vehicle now, so that they can, if somebody steals your truck, you can call and report it stolen, and law enforcement can contact OnStar, and OnStar can turn off the engine of that vehicle while it's driving down the road. Or conversely, if they want to make sure that you get locked up and thrown in jail for trumped-up charges, they can disable your ability to drive the vehicle.
Yeah, but they don't do that for your convenience. My mother lost her phone at one point, and they knew full well where it was. They wouldn't tell her where it was, and they wouldn't turn the phone off.
Yeah, I remember being on the phone with you. This was before we did the show. I remember talking to you when you were dealing with your mother trying to find your phone.
Yeah.
Nope. But people don't realize that this isn't a convenience factor. It's a trick to make us...
They're not even doing the slightest effort to even sell it to you on a convenience level. I would think that if they're trying to get this kind of control over everybody, they would at least offer the service to you as to find the phone, turn it off, things like that. Oh no, they're not even giving you that kind of convenience. They simply won't help you.
Right.
Oh yes, we know where it is. Huh. I mean, they just end the sentence there. Well, we know where it is. Okay. Will you tell me where it is? No. Oh, good.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just it's the same way they've slipped these things in all the time. We're doing this for your protection.
Except it never is. I mean, they're filming you 24/7, but can we use the footage? No. Can we have the footage? No.
Yeah,
All the cameras malfunctioned.
Right, exactly. Matt G. I mean, that's a perfect example. The cameras all over London. Why are they there? Is it because they're trying to track and find criminals and make sure that criminals can get prosecuted? No, they're doing it so that they can make sure and enforce bizarre, crazy statute laws against you just because they figure that you are subversive.
Excuse me.
No.
Never.
No excuse for that. It needed to be louder and longer.
Yeah, I know. Well, I couldn't claim it was like destruction of like some sort of insects. It was just basically because I've been eating cake.
Well, you guys might be doing the show yourselves tomorrow. It's go to the store time, so tomorrow.
Ah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's that once a month thing, huh?
Yep. Where I get all of my fruit frozen and my pizzas.
Frozen fruit's the worst.
It's wonderful. It's like flash frozen. It's amazing. And I put orange juice on top, you see, and then it melts all afternoon, and it really is entertaining.
Watching it melt.
No, it's entertaining, and I mean, just to me, it's melting, and I spear it with the X-Acto knife there and eat it, and I work on the computer the whole afternoon. It's wonderful.
Exciting.
I know I've reduced excitement to such a small thing, but
I suppose if it makes you happy, right?
yeah, it's better than dealing with these American women.
Well, yeah.
Your girlfriend has chained downstairs. That's what it is. It's his
like the woman that yells 16 hours a day? Yeah.
Yeah. You chained her downstairs. She's chained to the toilet downstairs.
Oh, how great.
Walking down the street the other day, past this woman standing out in the front of her yard, screaming, "Why did he leave me? Why? Why did he leave me?" And all I could think was, "Lady, I've known you for 10 seconds and I want to leave you."
She was screaming that?
Uh-huh.
Great.
American women are nuts, dude.
I know.
What would happen if you started dancing if it was in like a pop advert or something, like a pop song in front of her and she just like starts singing or something?
Maybe.
She's already in a level of trance, so she's just doing that. So it might work.
Right.
Might get a song out of her.
I just need a karaoke of a Michael Jackson song or a Miley Cyrus song. That'll be fine.
No, start dancing, see if have a recorder, and then you might get a song out of her.
Man, I went out.
You all want out.
I went out.
Let me, CC, you're still there with us?
Hello!
He's in there somewhere.
Well, okay, we'll wait till he stamps back, because I do want you asking him a few questions.
Did you give any wedding gifts to Glenn Keeley, who just by complete coincidence had his
Right. He's being married.
his marriage on the same day as your anniversary?
I sent him a box of tsetse flies.
Maybe he's trading Don's hell for his own.
You should have given him a box of maggots.
I could see it.
He actually has a maggot farm.
They were maggot forms of the flies, so.
Yeah. He'll just take that as the worst sort of insult. Because he had his maggot farm and he said, "You dare to mock my maggots."
He actually grows maggots?
Yeah. He sent me an email about it.
Oh, wow.
Ants. He's got an ant colony or something, and he said some of them are still in the maggot phase.
Oh.
Pupae, yeah.
Why would you want to grow ants?
Study the ant society. Yeah, apparently they are.
I don't like those
Study
kind of
ant
things.
societies. I thought that was a big craze in America. You have ant farms, and you have them like in like transparencies.
Oh yeah, the little tiny ones. But I thought you meant on a larger basis. No.
Possibly. Yeah, he's probably like breeding a nest and just like letting them roam.
Oh, great.
They're great for picking up little odds and sods. If I had ants in the house, I wouldn't have to worry about the cake. Like spinning on the carpet.
I have plenty of ants in my house. You can have them if you want.
Most people are trying to get rid of ants, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he wanted a gift for Alan Watt. He already got the wedding gift from Alan Watt. It was a guillotine in a basket.
Well, isn't Alan Watt going to just make a copy of the marriage certificate and then pretend he's married?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or he could actually be secretly be married to Alan Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Glenn Keeley did specifically buy a guillotine and basket in the hope that Alan Watt would accept his invitation to turn up to the marriage, and then he could try it out on him.
Well, no, Glenn Keeley invents it and Alan Watt steals it.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So Alan Watt would be walking into a trap. You see, the marriage treat would be Alan Watt's head in the basket.
Yeah, that's good.
So he was trying to trick Alan Watt into buying a guillotine basket for him as a wedding gift, and then to try it out, he'd use Alan Watt.
That's a good thing for the public to remember. Don't seduce Alan Watt.
I don't think most of the population wants to. I've seen photos of him with his hair growing out now recently.
Yeah.
He does
more of a country Alan Watt.
Hey, what's that?
More of a country Alan Watt or more relaxed Alan Watt?
Yeah, sitting next to a lake, wearing his Canadian melty clothes, as far as I remember.
Oh.
Gazing out across the water, looking thoughtful.
Looking morose, yeah. Morbid, mystical.
Hand on the chin that's propped up on an elbow and his knee.
I don't understand all the actual validation of Alan Watt. I mean, once you learn that he stole everything from the other guy, isn't he over then? No, he continues on.
I know. Or just read Spy vs. Spy in the Mad Comics, and that's basically you've got Alan Watt and Glenn Keely. Yeah, one ripped from the other. And Glenn Keely, if he wrote a biography, it'd be like he's a multi-billionaire, one of the richest people in Canada or something, and then he invented like the Matrix for houses and all that sort of stuff. He stood outside the Canadian Parliament or something for 40 days and protested or something, or 100 days. There's all this stuff he did in the 90s.
Quick news article for everyone, and I bring this up because once again it gets back to one of our favorite subjects. Israel vows to tighten Gaza blockade. U.S. media reports blockade eased. Well, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to tighten the blockade against Gaza. The castrated corporate media in the U.S. I love that line. I'm going to have that tattooed across my shoulders, I think. Castrated corporate media in the U.S. is reporting that Israeli restrictions are being eased. Last week, Netanyahu's office released a statement in English that vowed to, quote, liberalize the system by which civilian goods enter Gaza and expand the inflow of materials for civilian projects that are under international supervision. Headlines quickly followed. Israel eases restrictions on goods bound for Gaza Strip, Washington Post. Israel to ease Gaza land blockade, New York Times. Israel to ease blockade of Gaza, Cabinet says, CNN. Israel says it will ease Gaza blockade, MSNBC. However,
so they're bringing more pasties, more garters, things like that for the Gaza Strip clubs.
Yeah, I guess.
Huh? Gaza Strips, nation in shock.
However, none of these outlets reported on the fact that Netanyahu's security cabinet never actually reached any agreement to do anything regarding the blockade. As Haaretz reported, the Prime Minister's office announced on Thursday that the Security Cabinet had agreed to relax Israel's blockade on the Gaza Strip, but as it turns out, no binding decision was ever made during the Cabinet meeting. The Prime Minister's office issued a press release in English following the meeting, which was also sent to foreign diplomats, but substantially different than the Hebrew announcement, according to the English text. A decision was made to ease the blockade, but in the Hebrew text there was no mention of any such decision.
I don't tolerate language like that. Don't speak Hebrew. That's right.
Just hours later, Netanyahu pledged that his government intends to tighten the blockade, noting, quote, there will be no civilian closure of Gaza, but there will be a security closure. The security closure will be tightened from now on. A key passage of Netanyahu's statement came with the declaration, quote, we have deprived Hamas of the ability to blame Israel for hurting the civilian population of Gaza, and our friends around the world are getting behind our decision and giving international legitimacy to the security blockade on Hamas. So, as much as we talked last week about Israel claiming that they were relinquishing and lessening that blockade, once again it turns out to be nothing more than a bunch of BS.
Of course they're lying. That's what these people do. They lie and lie and lie. They lie and lie and lie and lie and lie.
Why would they do that?
They've never told the truth.
Part of the job description, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, if you are a Zionist, that's your job. That's what you're paid to do.
Zion anagram is nosy. It's just almost Nazi. Change the O to an A, you get Nazi. There you go.
They get Ashkenazi.
Zion
What did you say?
2012.
Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi. Yeah, Ashkenazi. Yeah. Black
No,
Nazi.
Ashkenazi. No, we should separate those words. Ask.
Ask a Nazi.
A Nazi, yeah.
Ask a Nazi.
It's like a radio show, you know.
Yeah. Like agony aunts. Instead of your agony aunt, you've got an.
You know, I might actually download and listen to archives of a radio show called Ask a Nazi. It might be actually interesting.
Nazi.
Can I do this? No. That's every question. Can I do this? No.
Right.
Nine.
Yeah, it wouldn't be no, it'd just be 9.
Under the Fuhrer.
Verboten.
Yeah. You say, can I cross the street? You just, yes, you little Ingefriend or something. You know, you must begin all sentences with under the Fuhrer. It's like, okay, under the Fuhrer, is it alright to cross the street? 9! Under kind circumstances. Yeah, just have to be so mixed up with German that most people won't understand it. You must have the brain rot if you cannot understand a word I'm saying. Stricken.
We have ways of making you understand.
We have ways of making you thought.
Understand, yeah.
Understand.
Yeah. Any sort of question you there. I have to speak to my off your.
Very sad.
So, we have word down from the Oberstbannführer.
Yeah.
Is that the Oberbannführer speaking now?
Yeah. I thought that was your girlfriend that you had trained up.
That's downstairs.
Yeah.
Now, if you really heard this psycho downstairs, you would there's not even a joke there. Yeah.
What did she say?
Oh my god, it's unbelievable the screaming. I really should tape it. I've taped it before. I'll drag out my pants.
Oh, good grief. So what question did you want to ask? It was about the divorce, wasn't it?
He needs a divorce. The Freeman.
He needs to. Well, no, he needs to get out of there, and then consider divorce when from a distance.
Well, right. That's exactly what my plan is to get out of here this evening and then file. I was just looking for information on how the actual what to draft, what to process, what to write, and everything else. How it should be structured, how it should be worded, and everything else.
Catch a lift down to Vegas and get a quickie.
Quick divorce, yeah.
Can Vegas do a quickie divorce?
Yeah.
They do quickie marriages, so yeah. You go left for the marriage and go right for divorce, I think. At the junction.
Welcome to the happily, possibly never after chat.
The red door is marriage, and the green door is divorce. You know.
Oh, I thought it was the red door was marriage, and the blue door was the red door is marriage, green door is divorce, and the blue door is
gay marriage.
Freemason.
No significance between those colours though on that one, really. It'd be the brown door for gay marriage.
Ooh. Alright guys, I gotta take this other call real quick. I'll be right back with you.
Great. I'm getting all my view from space is all organized here. I didn't realize he's on once a week.
Oh yeah,
every day. I like that show.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I have difficulty verifying his facts though if I talk about it, but that's often the case because he gets it from like unnamed sources.
Yeah, but it's still very interesting.
Yeah, he's definitely entertaining. I was trying to find what BP's doing after Deep Horizon because he said that they're doing a deeper oil drilling thing that's actually going to take place, and it's like in process of actually happening. I don't know if they're actually drilling now or they drilled. But yeah, he came up with some interesting factoids. I think he was the one who said that Halliburton put the there's cement or concrete in place for the oil drill.
Yeah.
For the Deep Horizon. Deep Horizon's the name of the oil drilling rig experiment project, whatever, that went wrong. The Gulf of Mexico one. I don't know what the next project is, but that's supposedly even deeper. I think there's going to be 5 more myself. So wait and see, but they're not announcing it yet. And they got
the Russians have got 20. The Russians have actually got 20 of these deep wells in operation at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
How are they a depth of 5,000 feet, or are they less? Because that's
no, well,
supposed to be
they're doing it. At least they're doing it on land, and they've had one accident which they sealed.
Yeah.
But apparently the pressures, they're not quite so deep as this Horizon.
Yeah.
Not quite as deep. I think they're only going down 20,000 feet instead of 25, 30.
Oh,
so it's an awful long way.
Just check the depth of Deep Horizon.
I think it's 4,900 and somebody feet above the sea floor, and then another 20,000 feet down, from 25,000 feet down from there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's now estimated to be flowing at 35,000 to 60,000 barrels of crude oil per day.
Yeah, well, you have a look at that pipe, and it ain't coming out that fast.
They've drilled a second tunnel though to intercept the first one. No, they've already done that like 2 months ago, and so that just like doubles the rate of oil spillage. It was so stupid. Can't believe they did it. Well, I can, but it's just so ridiculously stupid. It was supposedly to reduce the flow of oil spillage, I suppose, by reducing the pressure of oil coming out, but it would just double the amount of leakage.
Depends if they seal the second well and then draw off from there.
Oh yeah. I don't know. They haven't been able to close the first well at all though, so I don't see. Yeah, I think they're supposed. Yeah, but the pressure comes from underneath, doesn't it? That's what I mean. It's like it's trying to force its way through.
If you drill below the damage, because they're steerable drill heads, you can drill into the main part, go through.
Yeah.
Seal that one until you can fit the takeoff pipes and the preventers and all the rest of the garbage, the valves. Then you just open that lot up. And because you're lower than the original spill, you should be able to draw off, reduce the pressure there, and then close that one off. But
bit like a plumber does, I suppose, isn't it? It's plumbing, really.
Well, I don't know.
Like if you've got
I don't think they really want to fix it.
I think they're bullshitting. I mean, they could have tried out test models that wouldn't work. It just didn't sound like it was going to work at all. I read it and I thought, well, a bunch of rubbish. And I thought it was a proposal of a plan they had, but no, they've already done it. They tried it in April or something, May.
tried all
It could do all sorts of wacky things. I mean, it could just like erode all the. I'm assuming there's less dense material. That's why the leaks so severe, because it's like eroded the inside of the tunnel. And having 2 holes drilled there, it could just like push out the whole bit in between, couldn't it? Eventually, and just like a massive gusher. You're going from like a little like stab wound to like a chainsaw wound. Could just rip it all up. The what do you call it? The firmament, or whatever. The crust, the mantle.
Those are pretty much the correct terms, because it's blood red.
Yeah.
This oil. That's what's
weird.
so strange about it.
Yeah, it's all a bit supernatural. And he compared it to The Abyss as well, which was good of him, because I did that as well.
The Abyss is some kind of great movie. That's an amazing movie.
They think it's oil, this red oil, because if you throw a torch at it or something, it sets fire. But they're not sure if it's oil. If it's oil, it's just such a crude oil.
I thought it was just because it was different grade.
They're saying that this oil is abiotic oil. In other words, it doesn't come from the decomposition of.
Dragons.
It's a naturally produced, if you like, synthetic mineral oil, rather than because of the temperatures, pressures, and however other bits and pieces, which then suggests that if this is such a huge cavern of this oil, when they drag it off, will the seabed collapse?
Yeah.
You mean into the interior of the Hollow Earth?
Yeah, just fall right through. They found apparently an ancient Mayan city in that area as well. They found some sort of like artifacts all over that city, but they just like using this thing helpfully as a distraction so people don't investigate the city. Well, of course, they carry everything out from it.
Yeah.
All sorts of weird stories circulating, like there's been a city found in Antarctica.
Yeah, it's about time.
Pigs will fly tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just
they do already, but they call them police helicopters.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the pigs flying thing has already been filled with the swine flu, because that's pig flu.
Yeah.
Just different way of spelling flu. Yeah. They love to invent these phrases of things, and then people like ridicule them. And it's like, oh yeah, if the Earth's flat, then pigs can fly. But it's because they already had a plan for, using something and calling it pig flu. And so then when people see it, they're doubly shocked. It's like, oh, there's no such thing as Martians, and the next thing you know, they've got like 70-foot tall Martians like invading the city. Except it's all a big psyop.
U.S. denies spectacular ruins in Antarctica captured on video. On freerepublic.com.
I think I've seen those. That's one of the underwater ones. I saw one of an underwater city yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
The U.S. government says it will seek to block the airing of a video found by Navy rescuers in Antarctica that purportedly reveals a massive archaeological dig is underway beneath the ice.
Oh.
Atlantis TV with an @ sign.
Yeah, Atlantis TV, that's it.
Put it in the Freeman chat. So
Atlantis TV is the crew who went missing for 8 years or something. I called them something else, Atlantis Project, but yeah, it's Atlantis TV. But it was Jonathan Gray sent me an email about it, so we got kind of an exclusive one on that one about a week or two back. But I updated you on it on I think Friday.
It violates national security, they said.
Oh yes,
of course.
Well, yeah.
We need to just dump that law or act, the National Security Act. 1947.
Yeah, Atlantis TV was a crew, I think maybe of 9 people that are sent to investigate if, the city of Atlantis is where it was, and they were going to investigate Antarctica, and they found some promising stuff, and then they went missing. But
where's that video?
Oh, Lenny, the thing.
Where is the video? The raising the Atlantic.
Well, they're blocking it.
Oh, we can't get at it then.
The story is about them blocking it, not about it being released.
Yeah. But Atlantis TV crew has definitely gone missing. They've been missing since something like 2002. Yes, first sentence as well says it here.
The Atlantis TV production crew that shot the video is still missing. Ah, you mean they've been disappeared by our American friends?
Yeah.
Very old story, though, 2002.
It's one of those sleepers. Something they had like it.
I've no doubt it will appear on WikiLeaks very shortly.
Plan D.
Israel to block Iran aid ships to Gaza. Israel to spy on Iran with new satellite. Israel's secret prison wing sparks uproar. Who are these pillocks?
I'm just looking through Haaretz here now. Israel's legitimacy is under attack, Netanyahu.
Well, the actual UN resolution has never been ratified, so, legitimacy does come into question then, doesn't it?
We know the attacks on Israel are threatening its existence since we constantly hear people saying, go back to Poland or Morocco. They are essentially telling us to dismantle the Zionist enterprise. Well, I assume if you just cup your hand to your ear in Israel, you could hear that constant chanting.
Yeah.
I don't think you need any special equipment. You just have to just start listening. Everyone is saying, go away. They want to strip us of the natural right to defend ourselves. When we defend ourselves against rocket attack, we are accused of war crimes. We cannot board sea vessels when our soldiers are being attacked and fired upon, because that is a war crime. They are essentially saying that the Jewish nation does not have the right to defend itself against the most brutal attacks, and it doesn't have the right to prevent additional weapons from entering territories from which it is attacked. Well, that's completely right. Fuck you. That's my message to them. They don't have any right to do anything. They need to leave right now. And I like that thing about going to the sun that was mentioned earlier on the show. I like that. I think we should shoot them to the sun. But I think that'd be kind of expensive. Whatever the cheapest option is.
Who suggested to shoot them to the sun? I can't remember that. Wasn't me.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, the United Nations and many ordinary people are criticising them for substantial reasons. They're not. I mean, this flotilla wasn't armed.
They weren't firing upon them.
They provoked the attack and were using live rounds before they even boarded the ship. Come on, man! I mean, get real, you idiot. They want to strip over the natural right to defend ourselves. No, you've got a right to defend yourselves, but so have the Palestinians and so have the people on board that ship that you raided.
Yeah. But what's interesting is even as they're wording it in this brainwashed manner, it's still not right. It's still illegitimate. And he's listing the actual claims.
Well, I mean, if Israel is based on a fraud, it remains a fraud, whatever. I mean, you can't. If it began with a fraud, it's still a fraud now, and it began with a fraud.
Well,
so it's a fraudulent enterprise, right from day one.
The problem being that history is alive and is agreed upon, despite it being a fraud.
Oh, right to defend itself against the most brutal attacks. Who's doing the brutal attacks? Oh, well, that would be Israel, of course.
And, I just saw earlier today that they launched a new spy satellite. Israel did, so that they could keep track of Iran's nuclear program.
Oh, yeah.
And the immortal words of Estratios, I want out.
I want out.
Welcome to the I Want Out Radio Network. So, sorry about that.
When Michael heard that we were going to start a radio show, he said, "Yeah, that I was going to have to be a little soft on Israel and stuff like that." Have we? I don't think we've done that.
Never.
Yeah.
No reason to. We don't have to. The great thing is that we have truth on our side.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute verifiable truth. So, if I can just get back to the divorce stuff real quick, how should I phrase my notice of understanding and intent? Just not in a long, drawn-out, defined thing, but having gone through a divorce yourself, CC, and I think I remember you mentioning that you had filed a notice of understanding and intent to discharge your responsibility of any of your ex-wife's debts.
Publicly in the newspaper.
Correct. I put that in the legal notices pages of one national newspaper and one local newspaper.
Okay. Can I do the same thing for a divorce proceeding? I mean, can I file a notice?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Would I want to do it with a local newspaper and a national newspaper, and then one sent directly to her too?
Yeah, notice. In other words, the legal notices should notify the federal and state legal authorities, and through the federal authorities, it notifies all the other states that this is the position, that you are getting divorced. You're no longer willing to take responsibility for her debts and blah blah blah. And they should direct all their requests for payment, whatever debt she's run up. I mean, to her lawyers. That's what I do. When she gets a set of lawyers, direct them to them. See what they do.
All right. Well, as this process works, I will continue to keep you all updated and posted as the whole thing works out. Of course,
here,
now,
I found the correct text that you should copy. Here, hold on a second.
All right, well, you can post it into this chat room here, because I'll just use my flash drive and pull the stuff off and put it onto my computer.
You want to copy this text here?
The slurp file?
This right here. No, my microphone was so bad for so long that I began to gesture totally into the microphone, everything I do, including what's really bad is eat. As I eat during the show, I do that into the microphone. I'm trying to stop myself from doing that.
I think most of us eat something during the show.
Yeah, but I couldn't be heard over the microphone no matter what I did. So now that I have the new one and it doesn't matter anymore, I still do it. It's not right.
Well, I have a tendency to do air quotes, with the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, in quote, air quotes, and I do it even though I'm sitting here and I realize that none of you can see me.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amusing as far as I can tell, but, it's how we work, right? Excellent. So, downloading. Exciting. Quick clear it so that
in Congress, July the 4th, 1776. Can you tell me what that has to do with divorce?
It's the
Declaration of Independence from her. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the text you want to copy right there.
I hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal. That's hysterical.
Yeah. That's exactly the right sentiment is captured there.
Oh, that was perfect. Thank you. Oh, I needed that laugh. I haven't laughed like that in a few days.
Excuse me.
Did you scan your hand for us then? No, scan your hand.
Scan? No. What I'll do actually is I will. I took pictures of it, and I just have to upload the pictures onto this computer real quick, and I can send them off to you. So, give me a couple moments, and I'll do that real quick. Gotta find where my stuff is. I know where my camera is, I just don't know where all my cords for it are right now. Yay, my kitten's sleeping on one of my dress shirts. How fun.
What a long train of abuses.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking for this stuff. Why don't you all talk amongst yourselves? The internal combustion engine was neither internal nor combustion. Discuss.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another.
Or marital bands, as the case may be.
Yeah.
That's good.
Bit of facts there.
What the heck was that? So, I think that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, everybody likes it all over the world, and they all come here.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
They all like it all over the world, and they all come here.
Do you notice how it says unalienable rights, not inalienable rights?
Mm-hmm.
Unalienable. They're not inalienable.
Right.
And the pursuit of happiness. Oh.
Well, that's a perversion of the original documentation, as we all know.
Deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Well, we do not consent to be governed. So take your just powers and sling your hook.
Yeah. I do not consent. I do not consent. No, that doesn't make me happy. I got a better. I love being brilliant. It's so much fun. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this... Ah, damn it, this stupid old computer doesn't have it. This computer is not nearly as cool as my computer. My Toshiba is so much better than this damn thing. I'm not going to be able to send these things to you, these pictures to you right now, guys. I'm sorry. I've got to find a cord that apparently is missing. Why is it missing? Because probably my wife decided to hide it on me so I can't find it. Yay. A notice of understanding and intent to all of you: never get married unless you can't avoid it otherwise. It's rather vicious and nasty. I wish there were a webcam on this computer. I'd just take a picture of it before I can send it to you, but there isn't. And I'm missing all kinds of fun stuff that are supposed to be in this box, so I wonder if my wife decided to make it difficult for me to do anything. Ah, well, I'll have to send them to you at some later point. Suffice to say, it's the blood blister's about the size, half the size of a dime, and the puncture wounds are about 3/4 larger than that. It's on the left palm. But I'm going to have to find my missing cord before I can upload it onto this computer, or any computer.
You don't have a card reader that you just plug your little card into on your computer?
I do on my Toshiba, but not on the Mac. Ooh, you know what? I may be able to put it on the Toshiba, and then with my flash drive switch it to the Mac. Ooh, that would work.
That would definitely work.
sometimes it's good having more than one computer that you can work on. I actually feel like I'm an important person when I'm working on two of them.
Person?
Human. I'm sorry, you know, I
you have to stutter like the rest of us, lacking words, you know. Right, that's all I can communicate half the time. I'm so limited now with no words.
Oh, come on. Of course he has an important person. He has one. The government relies on his important person to supply it with collateral for all their borrowings.
Right.
It's very important.
That's right. Don't forget that.
Right, but while using two computers, I feel like an important human being.
That's only illusory.
Don't let it confuse you. Two computers could be difficult.
Trust me, I know that feeling. But I am, just so you know, I am having all of my mail forwarded, so...
and write the phone numbers on your shoe.
Actually, I'm making sure that I carry all of my notebooks and everything with me, so I will make sure that I have the ability to contact you and let you know where I am and what's going on, so that we can maintain our contact.
Because I have to tell my Mossad handler where you are at all times, so...
You know my Mossad handler?
No, my Mossad handler.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know I had one until they told me I did. I didn't know. Jerks on the internet. Who knew? Yeah, I'm never told anything till the last minute. They've sent me no checks though.
The Wise Iconoclast Radio.
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah, like I would have one of those, really. Yeah. They have sent me no checks at all. Yeah.
So, she's back. Here we go. See if I can.
The show's so much better when I'm awake. Yesterday was terrible. I couldn't see. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's never a good thing.
No. Don't do radio blind.
Yeah. Number one rule: don't do radio blind.
Yeah, I'm just wearing the glasses today because I can't deal with the contacts. It's just not working out. I'm gonna go back to the old style of contacts. I don't know what these new kind are. They're just wrong. Pulling out a box of them here. Let's see. They don't tell you much. Breathable contact lenses, it says. You can't take a nap with these on, though, or else it eats at your eye. So, yeah, breathable, I think, is the wrong word. I took a 4-hour nap, and I was screwed over for 2 days.
A 4-hour nap? I don't think I could do that.
Oh, I'm skilled at napping. If you think my radio silence is good, my napping is. I mean, I am just. There should be an Olympic event or something. I mean, I'm really there with that. Napping is what I'm good at.
Well, that's good. Everyone needs to be good at something, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, they're both on here. I don't know if they're going to work, though.
Yeah, people keep thinking it's this computer skill I'm good at. They haven't seen me nap. They would agree right away.
Of course it won't.
No?
So, well...
No transmission.
I'm going to have to do this despite me. Still working on it. Talk amongst yourself.
All right.
At least I know what I'm looking for now. So. mean, you guys can all see JPEGs, right?
Yeah. It's the most ubiquitous format on the internet.
Right. So, do that. Cool. That'll work. Alright. Now, I want that out. Oh, soon here, I promise you. Nice thing, too, is that the camera that I use to take the pictures is my camera that I won at a golf outing last year. So she can't even claim ownership to that. Uber happy. So I get to take that with me, too.
Belgian lawyers to charge Barak and Lavini for war crimes. 2 Belgian lawyers are working on behalf of a group of Palestinians, plan to charge 14 Israeli politicians, including Ehud Olmert, Ehud Barak, Zippy Livni, Matan Villani. I hate these people for crimes against humanity and war crimes.
Well, sure. Good. See if it actually holds any salt, though.
Yeah. One of the Palestinians he's representing is a Belgian national. So how is he a Palestinian?
That's an interesting question.
The current charges would be brought against the Israeli leaders using the principle of universal jurisdiction, the lawyer said. In Belgium, that's not it. Again, we've lost grammar and whatever, but the law states that there must be a connection between the crimes and a Belgian citizen in order to successfully prosecute under universal jurisdiction. This is not the first time the Belgian system has been asked to charge Israeli with such offenses. Again, I don't understand this at all. Their ability not to use the language correctly.
Must be. Now, I didn't scale down these pictures or anything, by the way. They're at,
They're 5 megs each.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Great.
No, you'll get them. They'll be there.
One day.
At some point. You know, a few minutes from now or whatever. So, Belgians, huh?
Yeah. And no concept of endings on words. That's what's amazing about this article. The English used here, I don't tolerate that kind of language. It could be because it's been translated a bunch of times or something. One of the dock workers is named Bjorn Borg, so that's good. I don't understand this article at all. It looks good.
No. I'm automatically against anyone that says.
I'm back.
Yeah, we're confused on the English used in this article.
Yeah, I was only brushing my teeth. I muted the mic.
New documents on Hitler's jail time. Rare secret report on Hitler.
Well, now I've got 2 small picture files on my camera. I suppose I can resend those, but you can't see them, just let me know and I'll redo these in a small format. Of course, they're taking forever.
They're coming along. One day we'll get them. Someday my prince will come.
Prince?
Prints.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I suppose as soon as you receive them, you're going to compress them down to a decent image size.
Yeah. You sending them to
Don't
me
you-
only or to everyone?
No, I
Yeah.
put them in the chat.
Oh, they're going everywhere.
Yeah, so everyone's getting it.
That's great.
Hey, I got no problems with it. I got nothing to hide. I did, however, if you have problems with them or anything, I have reduced the size of the file, so I'm gonna reload them up.
No, just let them go.
Okay. Well, I don't want to.
They're almost done now.
Well, that's good. Mine is still taking a while. Gotta make sure I get my camera.
I did manage to get that keychain thing to work. I just have to set the time now. It's stamping the wrong date. I can fix that.
Recorder that you have?
Yeah, that little keychain. It's really cool. The pictures are very good. It's just it's a little dark in the apartment, but I'm sure when I go outside it'll be fine.
I got to sign off for a bit. I got to go and talk to my daughter by telephone from in the UK. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon, TC.
We'll have to demote him.
Yep. Lock him of his pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll take 10% out of nothing.
He now owes us. Yeah.
So that'll be a whole... We'll redistribute it to the rest of us. So we each get 33 1/3% of nothing.
Yeah. Or maybe revoke his Friends of Israel membership card.
Yeah. Here's a new ghetto in Israel.
Is there?
Yeah.
Why would you?
There's the article there.
Shantytown Powerless.
Oh, look, you've been bitten. Is that the wedding ring?
Yes.
Oh, how great.
Yep. That's the wedding ring, and yes, that's me being bitten. It's even worse now, because of course it's bled out and everything else. Yeah, isn't that just ridiculous?
Yeah.
Like, and then to turn around and tell somebody to ask me why or what I did to deserve it? Is there anyone in the world that deserves to be bitten like that didn't pay for it?
Do you do hand puppets as well?
I do shadow puppets.
Topo Gijo or something?
Yep.
Glove puppets.
Topo Gijo, the first puppet in space. I can't believe you've seen that.
That's Topo Gijo is what's his name? Ed Sullivan.
Right, but I want to say it was Steven Spielberg. It may have been somebody else. Did a short-lived cartoon series on a bunch of aliens that crash land on Earth and have to figure out. It was short-lived, so I don't know that it ever came to some conclusion. But they were supposed to be all out for a picnic and made a wrong turn and got hit by an asteroid and spiraled out of control and landed on Earth. And in the first episode, while they're running around trying to find some place to live and everything, they accidentally stumble into this scientific facility in which they suddenly discover that all of these aliens have been stored in formaldehyde, and they come across this what looks like a Mickey Mouse type character, but obviously all like weird and twisted out, drawn and everything. And this one character goes, "Topo Gijo, the first puppet in space."
Well, fortunately, there's a payoff to the story.
Yeah. What's the payoff?
None. We're bored out of our minds.
Yeah. Sorry, you're bored out of your mind. Should I be more entertaining?
Put on a puppet show, puppet show, puppet show. We want a puppet show.
Shall I do my dancing with the stars routine for y'all?
No.
Yeah, do glove puppetry. Ow! It really work on radio.
I always thought that was the dumbest thing on radio was ventriloquism.
That's what Charlie McCarthy and all that was.
Right? Exactly.
I still didn't set the time correctly. I don't know why the time's not being set on my little camera. You're supposed to put a little text file in there.
Don't know. So did you guys all get the file there?
Yeah.
Maggie, did you get my file?
I didn't bother downloading it. I'm waiting for the smaller version.
Oh, well that's fine. Then I'll just.
Oh, you mean to shrink it?
Yeah.
I'll shrink it, or you can shrink it or whatever. I'm gonna cancel this stuff then. If you're waiting for the smaller versions, I'll cancel this version. You gonna send the small versions there, Lenny, or do you want me to? Okay. All right, Lenny will send the small versions to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my white gold wedding ring in the picture, yes. I did take it off before, got bit. Wasn't aware that I needed to, apparently.
Excuse me.
I got it down to 37K.
It's a thumbnail with a hand.
No, it's full size.
Thumbnail with some fingers.
I have skills.
He's pretty talented.
It's not just radio silence and sleeping that I'm good. Those are jokes.
Radio silence.
Yeah. If I keep announcing my talents as being those things, people will take them seriously.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm gonna decline.
Apparently, he's good at sleeping. He keeps telling us he's good at sleeping. Okay.
I gotta make sure I pull all of my important stuff off the wife's Mac before she decides that she wants to do nasty things, stuff. And I am going to wind up changing my Skype name too, because obviously I will no longer be Clark Lake Perry. Although I found it really amusing that Sol and Patrick kept referring to me as Clark the other night.
Yeah. He's so smart.
It's like they never listened to the radio show. Oh, right, yeah.
I saw through in my mind the little that I know, but the only
It's indeed
I just figured it was a good thing
a
to bring this
grievous
up because-
imagery.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look at that. You can see it now. The blood blisters like doubled in size, and
Yeah.
it just looks vicious and raw. The whole thing, evil. I would never do this to any woman that didn't pay me.
Now, speaking of vicious,
Uh-oh, we want tuna, huh?
I guess what gets me worried is you've erased him.
there's a picture. Psychedelic vicious.
That I will accept.
I wonder what happened
If it ever does it.
to him. Your past
Still, the date's wrong on there.
That's alright. We'll forgive you for that.
I have this half-translated thing that from Japanese or Chinese or something, and it tells you about how to set the time, and I don't think any of the directions are right.
Would you like me to read those instructions to you in German? They're printed in English, yes, but English can't...
It doesn't make any sense.
It's not supposed to make any sense.
That drawer of your old photographs sits there like detectives' leaves.
Oh, nice.
Packets full of letters.
Skype just quit unexpectedly on you.
Huh.
Apparently your file was going to destroy my computer.
It's what?
I said my Skype just quit unexpectedly. Apparently your file was going to destroy my computer.
It did?
It did destroy my computer, but...
The file's fine.
Yeah, it said your Mac file.
It did listen as a Mac file?
Warning, this is a Mac file. It may destroy your computer. Then it will restart the computer and then you see, please wait, destroying all Mac files on your computer.
Oh, great.
Destroying all memory of Mac existence.
Ooh, but it does look like it downloaded it. That's nice. Just before it quit. It is a rather psychedelic picture. Really pixelated.
A bit grainy.
Yeah.
That's from a keychain.
But from a keychain, that's pretty good.
It's very good from a keychain.
You do need to set the time and date right, though.
Yep.
No longer 2008.
No, that's the thing. Okay, now here's the eBay item page. It tells you the directions how to use it, and that's it. I cannot find anything else on the internet about this. Scroll down. It talks about a text file that you're supposed to put in there.
Ooh, here's exciting news for everyone. Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly.
You mean from Inside Edition?
Yes.
That's what he's from.
Oh, I know. I know.
He's the winner of the Polk Award, not the... What is the other one? The Peabody. He didn't win the Peabody, he won the Polk. He claimed it was a Peabody.
Yeah, well.
Nobody's heard of the Polk Award.
Except for James K. Polk.
Yeah. The most exciting of presidents. So you had an O'Reilly story?
Yes, Fox News conservative, who has proposed a national sales tax, by the way.
So that's
Bill
false
O'Reilly.
already, so he's not a conservative.
Yeah, well, conservative is in quotes in the article. Bill O'Reilly says the next president will be obliged to cut the federal budget. He predicts Mitt Romney will fill the order.
Mitt Romney, the Mormon.
The son of former Michigan Governor Romney.
Mitt Romney, the Mormon.
Yeah. Which is why he didn't get the nomination last time. But maybe they're going to be willing to give it to him this time. Now, in this, if you go onto a personplanet.com, you can find this thing here. If you look at the picture of Bill O'Reilly sitting there talking, behind him is a blue background with this elaborate bookshelf system and a figure of a seated ram with the curved horns and everything else over his left shoulder.
That sounds totally normal.
Right? So, obviously, he's placing himself in the same category as anyone else who's willing to pose as a sheep or a lamb or a ram.
Yeah, Prince William.
Prince William did that famously.
Yeah.
Yep.
The baby goat.
With one eye closed, as always.
Right.
Prince William just loves those still photos. You know, you hardly ever see him moving. There's really hardly any footage of him actually walking around. I wonder why. Does he walk or does he waddle?
He slithers, actually.
Yeah.
Along the ground.
on a brownish, greenish mess of ooze.
Yeah. the only way that he can move forward is by shitting underneath himself and sliding.
Yeah. With a crack. Yeah. Just oozing out from him. Looks like he had a party, special public school boys party.
I don't want to think about Prince William's public school boys.
I'm sure he does though. Thinks about them lots.
So, Mitt Romney is a tax and spend Republican, and Bill O'Reilly knows this. But O'Reilly is pushing Mitt as the president because the banksters want the debt they sold to the government paid off, and in the process turn the American people into serfs and debt slaves. It is Bill's job to get a, quote, fiscal tough guy, end quote, who is in fact a tax and spender, into the Oval Office. I love finding more and more information that it's all one party. It warms my soul deep inside. So I've run my mouth off enough for the first 2.5 hours of the show, bringing up my issues. Anyone else got something they want to talk about?
All right, so about getting him divorced, how do we do this?
I got to get out of here. And then I need to file a notice of understanding intent indicating that she has violated the provisions of the marriage contract, that she has created what was
a nightmare! A nightmare!
What was the term you used, Maggot? The short acronym that the CC changed to grievous harm?
ABH. Actual bodily harm.
Actual body harm or actual grievous harm?
No, it's ABH or GBH. GBH is grievous bodily harm. ABH is actual bodily harm. You can't possibly do it for GBH. You can do it for ABH.
Okay. And
I mean, you could try. I mean, it's like, it depends on how far you want to stretch it in court, sort of thing. And it's a lot of it's drama in those sort of cases.
Right, and I would rather avoid doing any major levels of drama, and obviously the whole plan is to avoid getting into a court system whatsoever. I want to be able to do this in the Freeman method. I am not advocating automatically entering into dishonor by hiring a lawyer and filing legal charges. I want to do this totally by the Freeman method and make it a private thing between the two of us.
So there's no hope of that, so now what?
ABH is usually regarded as worth going to court for. So ABH isn't worth it. It's got to be GBH before it's considered worth it. I mean, you just talk about fees and stuff like that, you know, it's not worth paying the fees for it, and it's only if you want drama that you send somebody to court for ABH.
Well, and I certainly don't want to pay fees or create drama or do anything like that. I just want out. This is what I want out of right now. So that would be my sole intent, I guess, at this point, is to draft a notice of understanding of intent and share it with you all, and get feedback on exact wording and how to put it together. So I guess that's the next step after getting out of here this evening, is to start working on my notice. Of course.
Right.
The biggest problem, I guess, coming into it all is that I made the decision to ask this woman to marry me. I engaged into this marriage contract. I engaged into this marriage and everything because I actually do and did and will continue to love this woman. I just, you know, there are women that stay with men that abuse them for years and 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 years until they hit a point where they suddenly snap and kill the other person. And I don't want to be that. I mean, I was lying awake last night thinking of all the different things that I could do to make her life really difficult. You know, smashing her computers, destroying the modem in the house, throwing away all of her stuff, and all kinds of things that could have been vindictive and vicious, and I realized that really would make me no better in the situation than she was. And that's why I want to approach this as an adult, which is why I think getting out of here and then filing my notice is probably the best way to do it. So that's my main goal, is to get out of here and then file my notice. let you guys all see it and give me some personal information and thought process on how the whole thing should be done. Oh! Hey, Michael has just asked the purpose of these pictures because I didn't realize he was still part of the American Freeman chat and he's online. Why don't you pull him into the car real quick and I'll explain it to him. Problem with posting things into a public chat like this is that it goes to people and they're like, what the heck is this? So I think that's the best way to go about it. And the only reason I bring this up is not only to find out how to do this through a Freeman method, but because Lenny and I had a conversation last week Friday while you were at your dinner, Maggot, about airing our grievances and our dirty laundry on air. I mean, that's what the Howard Stern show does. It's what any successful show does. It's what people want to listen to.
That's not true. Any successful show, but Howard.
Well, okay, not any successful show, but Howard Stern at any rate.
We love Howard. Right, Michael?
Have no.
Hello?
Opinion. You tell me it's Stern, because I just haven't done the research into him.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
You love the picture?
Did you like those pictures?
I don't know what the point of them is.
That's my left hand. That is the violence perpetrated against me last evening by my wife, biting my hand repeatedly hard enough to draw blood.
The only pictures that I saw were some guy holding some lamb, and then some picture.
Oh, you haven't seen it then? Here, hold on.
Oh, you have... Okay,
I'm talking on a phone right now. There's no use sending them. But just tell me what happened.
Oh, well, part of one of the processes in our show today is talking about how to file a notice of understanding and intent to work the process of divorce without having to go through the legal court system. And we got into talking about why I'm interested in that, and part of it is because I was savagely and viciously attacked by my wife last night to the point that...
you should have never legally gotten to divorce in the first place. It should have taken... you should have taken the road of a contractual agreement. But
well, that's what a marriage is. A marriage is a contractual agreement. And I haven't gotten divorced yet. That's one of the things that I brought up was how to use the Freeman method of notices of understanding and intent to not have to go through a legal court system and still do the divorce proceedings.
Well, I'm never going to, I mean, even if marriage one day comes, if that comes, it's never going to be done in the general public method, we'll put it that way.
Of course, there's always the great Freeman method of moving to Antigua, so don't forget that.
That in Barbados, right?
Yeah, well, it's expensive in Barbados.
That's it.
Belize is good. You like a hut? We'll get you a hut. Belize.
I do like huts.
Yeah, I mean, if the whole purpose is for a tax break, that could be arranged without that.
Sure.
A complete tax break, 100% reduction.
No. I got married in the first place because I really felt and truly believed that I was in love with the person that I was going to spend.
Well, that's possible to do through ceremony without the... You know what I mean.
Well, of course it is. Unfortunately, I was a young, naive 25-year-old, and my wife was a brainwashed, mind-controlled 24-year-old.
Well, you were just a little lad, never knew no good from bad. Kind of like that.
I've always been in love with every person I've ever met. You know, when $15 million, I get romantic. I want to build an aqueduct. You know what I mean? Every person I meet, I get really hot. You know.
Every person, huh?
That's right. I'm gonna build aqueducts from here to the moon. Very, very Roman.
So every person, not every human.
Oh no, I don't like many humans. No,
just every person.
I get very romantic feelings about persons. Yeah, I'm going to build roads and bridges and aqueducts. It'll be great.
How romantic of you.
Mm-hmm.
How romantic of you.
It is. Very romantic. Wow. I got the plans all written out.
Is that where romantic comes from? Roman?
Yes. Yeah, that's all it means.
Is that really where that comes from?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't answer that question, to be honest.
That's why that joke is a good
that
joke.
Word
Yeah.
again.
That's why aqueduct is a good thing to do when you get romantic. You got to build one.
Yeah, a Roman with ticks.
You got to build Rome.
Yeah.
How do
I'm
I know
romantically
what
in love
terms
with you.
to avoid?
I want to build roads and aqueducts and set up a statutory system of laws.
And can we have Colosseum? Can we have Colosseum? I want a Colosseum.
Okay, well, that's very romantic too.
Why do you want a Colosseum so you could feed Christians to the lions?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, I could feed Hindus to the lions.
Exactly.
Oh, we don't even have to stop.
I'd even put on a veil and stuff and pretend to imitate a woman, like Miss Piggy or something, and just get a Colosseum, just so I could chuck people into the lion's den. Yeah, ha ha! I tricked you! Ha ha! You should have guessed my voice.
To join the Judean People's Front, you've got to really hate the Romans. Well, I do. Oh yeah? How much? A lot. Right, you're in.
So, in light of me being informed that the word romantic comes from the word Roman, can someone get me a long list of words that I should never use?
Yeah, well, you see, romantic. I mean, a Roman bloodsucker.
I'm totally disappointed in all this. I mean, every time, you would normally say person, I have to force myself strangely to say human being. And now I can't say romantic, and I just want to know what other words I can't use.
Well, that's why I used to stutter when I first got into this. All my words were taken away.
Right. Everything that we've been trained and raised up to believe just are harmless words actually have deeper meanings that we are never given instruction in.
So next time you hear someone stuttering and unable to speak, unable to get any words out, they might just be a Freeman.
Sounds really I do not understand.
Are you a traveling man?
No.
Okay.
I refuse. I do not consent. I do not understand.
Well, if you're a traveling man, just let me know.
If I come across any, I'll send them your way.
I do travel. But maleness is
do we got a Freemason on the call?
No.
But maleness
no,
is
he didn't respond about something about the east to the west, so I think we're pretty good here.
I think we're okay. No, CC, what Michael's referring to is the code phrases in the Freemason Society. Are you a traveling man? Yes, I'm traveling from the east to the west, or there's a variety of other things.
Yeah, is there any hope for the widow's son?
So I'm moving around in my habitat. Does that make me a traveling man?
No.
Everything's
Oh Lord, my God, is there no help for the widow's son?
No,
Jobulon.
No! No help for the widow's son.
I am that
I am. I am the
Freemason Code Lines 101.
I am the Lich King. I can do anything.
If you don't know the Freeman methods, then it might help you if you get pulled over by a cop to shout, "Oh Lord, my God, is there no help for the widow's son?" Because chances are they might be a Freemason. They'll leave you alone.
I'm gonna try that the next time.
And then you hold up the circle to your eye as if you're adjusting your spectacles, and that's telling them that the all-seeing eye is watching them, and all this crazy shit.
They need to be reminded, don't they, once in a while?
And then you drag your hand across in the proper positions, and it says, well, if you evade your oath, you'll have this torn out of you, or whatever.
Oh,
yeah?
Maybe we need to host a show on how to defeat the Freemason methods.
doesn't help when you put your finger on a little badge on the back of the car, which happens to be a compass and square, and you ask the driver, "What is this piece of shit?"
You can buy rings for Freemasons without being one.
Ooh, now that
really
might be a good idea, is to just wear a ring.
Well, you only wear it if you get pulled over. Yeah.
Right,
I
just
wouldn't
keep it in like
any
your
other
glove box
time.
or something, and when they ask for your paperwork, just reach in there and slip it on and be like, and as you're handing over any false document, make sure they see that.
Yeah.
That might work.
Here's the Freemasons Lions paw. It's Pat Robertson on the cover of Time magazine.
Nah, he's just got some sort of like hand illness.
The Freemason lion's paw.
Yeah, he's got arthritis. He's got arthritis, poor man.
David Icke really does have arthritis, and people kept accusing him of doing Freemasonic hand signs.
Well, would that be
he's been
the
a
reason
tragic
that Bob
man,
Dole's one hand is always stuck like that, and why John
I think there's
McCain's
four
hand is
extra
always...
small sausages that arrived in the sausage factory because he seems to have lost half his fingers.
Yeah.
I like the people who say that, Alex Jones kept saying that the reason Ron Paul was doing the devil horns is because, like, he's an old man.
Yeah.
You just do that automatically when you've got problems. Yeah.
I do it automatically for a joke.
Yeah, Mr.
I only
Jones.
do it when I'm at Poe concerts.
Yeah. Can you pass the pepper? Devil horns. There you go.
Mr. Alex Jones, our favourite gatekeeper.
Is any of this on air?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. Cece, hold on. Whoa. Everyone just chill out for a second. Cece, what was that?
I said, Mr. Alex Jones, our favourite gatekeeper.
Right, exactly. The brilliant man in his own mind, married to a Jewish woman who supports Ron and Rand Paul.
Well, I got the Alan Watts show that he's done yesterday.
Ron Paul, I mean, to anybody who listens and they're aware of these words and what they mean in the legalese sense, Ron Paul always uses... I noticed not too long ago that he always happens to use two words, and that's the word person or persons and the word liberty. And you really got to watch out for that. You don't want liberty. You don't want to be under maritime jurisdiction, because liberty means you're at liberty to do something and it can be taken away from you.
Yeah, liberty is permission. It's not freedom, it's permission.
Right, so it can be granted and it can be taken away. You do not want liberty. That is maritime jurisdiction, and that's what that's referring to, and you do not want it.
I wonder if the framers of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and everything were aware of that when they put into life. Founders. Life, liberty, and the pursuit.
I'm not sure what I think of them at this point. I've been really pissed. Okay, there was a better thing going when you had the Articles of Confederation. I don't even know if that was good myself. I haven't looked into that enough. But then
according to my history teacher in high school, it was a bad thing.
Well,
I'm sure he was telling me the truth.
Well, he might have been telling the truth on that, but then he went on to tell you the lie of the Constitution that was ratified after that was a good thing. I mean, what that did was... people think, well, it was a good thing because it meshed the state and the federal power together. No. I mean, even if you have a little bit of corruption in there, it's like you drop a little bit of poison inside someone's drink. You're not going to want to drink that.
Hey, I've dropped a little bit of poison inside my drinks just to build up the resistance to iocane powder.
That's Princess Bride.
For those of you who don't know.
But I mean, you get my point there, and I've began to be very skeptical of those things, and I'm, like you said, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I mean, that type of thing.
Well,
and the fact that a lot of these founders were Freemasons, that can't be neglected. George Washington, admittedly, to give him benefit of the doubt, did, according to some private letters, leave the lodge, but he didn't know how to completely leave it.
Well, you also have to take into consideration that the lodge that they belonged to was not the modernized form of Freemasonry.
I don't care. Freemasonry, people have this idea that...
I'm sorry, no one interrupted you or cut you off. Hold on a second. The Freemasonry that was practiced by some of these founders was not the Freemasonry as defined by Albert Pike. Not that it vindicates any of their association or anything else, but it's necessary to recognize and realize that the modern practices of Freemasonry are not the same thing that's been perpetuated. And
I beg to differ. I beg to differ completely, and I can tell you why.
Okay.
Because Albert Pike had to revive. He was the one who was responsible for reviving Freemasonry after it caught a bad rep in America. And you know why it caught a bad rep in America before that point?
The murder. William Morgan.
Waiting for you to tell me.
The murder. William Morgan. That incident. This man was he exposed the secrets of Freemasonry, and guess what? He was killed. And that was found out, and there grew a huge anti-Masonic movement in America. So to tell me pre-Albert Pike Freemasonry was different, that is not true. That's categorically.
No, it's not
I'll say it's categorically untrue. It's categorically untrue, completely.
William Morgan was seized upon by two or three men, and brutally.
Three,
2 or 3 men. I can't remember.
It's always 3 in a Masonic murder. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a Masonic murder. Yes.
Yeah.
It was, and that was beforehand. I mean, that was before Albert Pike. Albert Pike, his goal was to revive it. That doesn't mean that the Freemasonry before that was better or good and virtuous.
I never gave any implication that it was better or that it was good. I just
you had to be indicating that it was better.
No,
if this was to save
I just indicated that it was different.
It wasn't different. It was not different.
I figured out this video camera.
Well, good.
The date's still wrong.
You always have 3 in a Masonic murder. You have 1 to commit the murder, 1 to witness the murder, and 1 to distract.
And the interesting thing, a little side note about this. This has been used to, pretty much in the truth movement, give the founding fathers involved with Freemasonry a better name. And also, I ran into some Mormons who were involved in the truth movement, and they used the same type of excuse to say that Joseph Smith was not a bad man because the Freemasonry he was involved with was before it was completely infiltrated by the Illuminati.
Yeah, blame the Illuminati for everything.
Whoa. The founder of Mormonism had bigger problems than Freemasonry going on. What's that to you?
Freemasonry was the driving force, and I'll tell you why.
Hold on. CC's got something he wants to say.
Yeah, okay. I have a Freemason friend, a pet, and I think everyone should have one. As a pet,
His name's not Jarbulon or anything.
But let me say this. I mean, Freemasonry was the driving factor, and I'll tell you how I know why. Because Joseph Smith's father, you see, Joseph Smith, as we know it, the founder of Mormonism, is really Joseph Smith Jr., and his father was Joseph Smith Sr., and he was involved with Freemasonry before Joseph Smith even made the claim about the plates or started the church April 6th of 1830. He was a Freemason long before, and right around the time the church was started, Joseph Smith's brother Hiram Smith joined Freemasonry.
Wow. Convenient.
And not too many years.
Makes it easy to remember the oath thing, oath name.
Not too many years after, Joseph Smith himself joined, and guess what? In one day, Joseph Smith obtained the 33rd degree in one single day.
So you're telling me that the angel that stood at the end of my bed last night with these two big gold plates wasn't really an angel?
I think you're very well. I think your mind is playing tricks on you or something. But
Hiram Smith rhymes with Hiram Abiff as well, so it makes it even easier. One of those wacky coincidences that isn't it coincidence?
Coincidence.
Yeah,
Joseph Smith. I mean, the whole temple endowment and everything, every bit of it, is a modification of the rituals done in Freemasonry. I mean, every single last bit of it is reminiscent of it in the very least, and parts of it are exact plagiarizations. So, I mean, and there's even doctrine stolen. Like, for example, Freemasonry, if I'm not mistaken, Adam is the father of all of our spirits. Mormonism took it further and said that God himself came, as we know it, in this universe, came down as Adam with one of his goddess wives, Eve.
Okay, so that's biblical, Adam.
He fell on purpose so that Eve could give birth to flesh and he could become the father of flesh. And the Mormons say that Adam, who is our God, is the father of our flesh and of our spirits. And they take it further, calling him God. They take it further than Freemasonry, but you can see how it's reminiscent of the Freemasonic doctrine. Now, modern Mormons have gotten rid of that belief called the Adam God doctrine because it was seen as an embarrassment. But you could still see it. I mean, Joseph Smith, while he didn't blatantly say it, Brigham Young was the first one who said that, the second leader of the Mormon Church. Joseph Smith, in the book called The Doctrine and Covenants, another Mormon scripture aside from the Book of Mormon, he called Adam the Ancient of Days. And everyone else agrees that the Ancient of Days is supposed to be God in the Bible.
Okay.
So he was dropping that hint right there that he was calling Adam God. Right there. It's in the Doctrine and Covenants in one of his so-called revelations. So you see, Freemasonry was the main driving force in all this. It wasn't something secondary that took a back seat. It was the driving force. And there's other examples I could probably point out if I thought about it than what I've already mentioned.
Well, perhaps we need to have you on one of our future shows, give you some time to pull out all the information. Maybe we can do a whole a section of one of our shows on Freemasonry and its long-term pervasiveness into the whole NWO.
The only reason I know this much about Mormonism is because I was involved in Mormonism, and I went and studied these types of things in depth concerning it. So I learned a lot of these things, and that's what caused me to leave the church after being in it only a year, being a technical member only a year, but I'd studied it even a year before that, and even after I left, I looked into it more. I'd even contemplated joining one of the moderate, they dress in normal clothes, Mormon fundamentalist sects, because I was that far into it.
You're hurting me now.
It's got a way of pulling you in. I mean, you don't understand it, and that's why these.
I actually do. I had a girl that I worked with who tried for about 2 years to get me into Mormonism and get me into everything, and I wound up actually going out and picking up a copy of the Book of Mormon, because I've read the Bible, and I've read the Upanishads, and I've read everything that you can get out there except for the Talmud at this point, because I just don't have a copy of it. But I've read the Book of Mormon, and if it weren't so dull and boring and dry, it was just a beautiful comedy.
Well, then you're familiar, I think it's in the book of First Nephi, with Lehi's vision. Lehi's
I read
vision.
it years ago, so
Lehi had
still
this,
got it on my shelves and everything, but I haven't read it since.
and I can't remember. I'd have to go through this again. Supposedly and I went through this, and at the time I'd proven it, and someone else had been pointing this out, and they were a Mormon. Lehi's vision in the Book of Mormon is a Kabbalistic vision. Freemasonry is based upon the Kabbalah itself. But the vision includes Lehi having this dream about this iron rod that extends out to the tree of life. Okay. And you have these people grabbing along this iron rod, and very few made it to the tree of life. And some fell along the way, and they ended up in this weird big and spacious building, and they were pointing and jeering at those holding onto the rod, which caused them to fall off and go into the same position. I mean, but there's more detail to it, but I had somehow established, and I need to look at it again, that was a Kabbalistic vision.
Just confirms me as a world famous atheist.
I admire atheists. It takes an atheist I admire. It takes an awful lot of conviction to believe in nothing.
I've gone agnostic at this point. I don't blame you. But
so, well, ladies and gentlemen, Michael, we appreciate your insights. If you can put together enough research and all of your citations and everything else, and put together a whole study on the significance of Mormonism and Freemasonry and the Kabbalistic system, we'd love to do part of a whole show on that. However, we have hit the 4 o'clock hour, so unless somebody else has something absolutely pertinent to bring up before we wrap up here.
Hi.
No, hi. Nice to talk to you.
Howdy from northern Georgia. How y'all doing?
So, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping us up. You have been listening to American Freeman on the World Freeman Radio Network. You can always download archives of our shows by going to...
Has the show started yet?
Are you just waking up? Good. Glad to hear it. Find our archives at tinyurl.com/WFS podcast. You can learn more about the Freeman methods and system by going to worldfreemansociety.org, as well as going to Google videos and Yahoo videos and checking out Freeman, Robert Menard, Magnificent Deception, anything along those lines.
Don't forget our podcast.
I already gave that first. That was the first thing that I gave. Also...
Premier position to the podcast.
Pardon?
Premier position to the podcast.
Absolutely, 100%. tinyurl.com/WFS podcast. If you want to get a hold of us and talk to us, share your stories, your problems, your situations, or your successes, want to know how to do any of this stuff, you can always contact us at Keep Truth Free on Skype or Clark Lake Harry's on Skype. Anyone have anything that they want to add before we sign off?
No, that's it.
Join my cult and get a free cell phone. Of course, it includes a 2-year contract of tithing.
Oh. Right. Your firstborn child and blood samples, too.
Do we get stickers?
Yes, that would be appreciated.
That's a big giant
owl. You do get stickers, though.
Do we get stickers?
If Stratios wants out...
All right, I have Stratios Constantine Murray's. I'm going to knock us off the air here in a second.